They can hear us now. There we go.
Yeah, but I had to do that. All right.
Hey everyone, welcome to
So,
City and
we
Sword
return to the
Dice.
group as they now travel along narrow mountain paths. Their pace is slow but steady as 2 horses and Cerno carry the others back to the cart. Having lost a horse due to some stray magic, and 1 horse now rather upset and scared at their master, the group is having to use Cerno as a spare. They are bruised and battered, however spirits seem to be high since one carries the item they set out to find, the salivary glands of a basilisk, needed in order to help the ritual they plan to try. 9 days have passed since the loss of Boar, and although the Syrcas was able to avenge their loss, some of the members still seek to try and reverse it. With the aid from Savangal's sister Kimi, the recently retrieved salivary gland, the debt of a quest, and an understanding Boar will never be quite the same as when they lost him, the party steps ever closer to the attempt of resurrection. However, before they can start the ritual itself, they must make it back to Mapletide. Who knows what they may find or have to overcome on their path? Let us see where this adventure leads today, with the dummies and their dice.
Hey!
I think that's the most extra
You know
intro
what?
ever.
I like that.
That was
I
okay.
really
You get
like
kudos
that.
for that.
So, let's
Also, I will
see.
not be talking nothing because I feel like shit.
Let's
Okay.
hope our Jesus is nice to you.
Now let's see. I have no idea why the yeah, I have no idea why the Roll20 chat is not popping up on.
Jam, you're breathing again.
There we go. Now it's working.
Ghosts don't breathe, Jam.
Ghost lady's alive!
I'm possessed in a body. We've been through this before.
She's alive. Wait.
It's alive!
Oh God.
No, shush, dog, shush.
Bow wow 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 wow. Bow wow 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 wow.
God. You sound God, dude.
Wow,
It's
wow,
just,
wow,
like,
wow, wow, wow.
completely gone.
So tired.
Purple, every time you do that, I think it's my cat at my door. It sounds so much like her.
I think that's the point.
Why is Bodison going twice? What the fuck?
It didn't kind.
Oh,
So have we
I'm not paying attention.
put the 2 actual horses on the cart?
Well, you haven't quite got back to the cart yet. Cerno is currently carrying Nar because Nar's horse refused to allow him to get up. And
I ran
saddle.
up behind.
So
I
I'm
ran up
currently
behind.
horse form then. I need a riding horse.
Cerno and I mounted him.
Due to some stray thunder waves, Nar's horse is currently unhappy with him.
Yep. So I wanted a fucking warhorse, but no, so wouldn't let me. It's too expensive.
You haven't got the money for.
Because
I
you
know,
spent
so
it on drinking!
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I only had like what?
I mean,
drunk.
6:30.
Any horse getting hit by its master isn't exactly going to be too
No,
happy.
why does
with-
everyone be poop? Hold on, what?
Any horse getting hit by their master isn't exactly going to be too pleased about it.
Pretty much. Huh?
And so.
Anyway, so you guys, you do get back to the cart. Zano still has what? It's half your level, so you got what? Probably half an hour left in your transformation.
I go as far as I'll take him as far as I can before I have to transform back.
Well, I mean, you're now back at the cart, so
Alright,
you've got
well-
the 2 horses which you can try and hitch up, and then you have, as I said, half an hour in your horse form if you so choose to do it. A point of note: this is you kind of took the cart as far as you could. This is a relatively narrow road. You're going to have fun turning it around.
No.
Can I try to pick it up and turn it
Oh,
around?
boy.
I'll help. Wait,
Sure.
how strong are
Roll
you?
a strength check.
Can I help him?
Certainly, roll another strength. You can also roll a
Yep,
strength check.
help.
Good way
Oh,
to start
God.
the night, Ninja.
I'm sick. I blame the dice.
Oh, thank God.
Well, nah, you strain against the car and you begin to feel part of your back dislocating, and all of a sudden the weight is taken majority off of you as Arsene sort of holds it before you both just drop it, realizing this is a large wooden cart. It's heavy. And 4 times both of your sizes.
Oh. I didn't realize that.
It can fit like 6 people and a trunk in it.
Why don't we just reverse it? I mean, no, wait, there's
That's what I was
battles coming.
thinking. We both pick it up.
Can
and
we get the horses
around.
past it on the path?
Yeah, you kind of sort of ramped it up onto the side as well, which didn't help with your trying to lift the lower end.
Mm.
Back.
You can get the horses past it, and you could probably carefully wheel the cart back down the pass to a point where you can probably turn it around. It'll just take a little while.
The strong people can do that.
We do have basilisks coming for us, though, don't we?
We do
Oh
actually.
yeah, they're still after us. Can we
Roll
hear?
perception checks.
How many of us?
Who was at the back?
The
at the
cat.
front, dude.
That was the cat and Arsene, wasn't it?
Arsene was with Agnes.
Yeah, I thought I was.
Oh yeah, the cat mounted Nar's horse. So yeah, Savangale, roll a perception check since you're at the back. As far as Savangale is aware, no basilisks in sight.
Can she see if the horse is any better or worse, and if their horse senses are tingling?
The horse seems to have calmed a bit, considering that you are riding it and being generally all right to it, and there is nothing trying to currently bite its legs or make it become a statue. As for the horse senses, it's a horse.
Whilst we try and sort this cart out, can I ask Night Eyes to do a quick perimeter check for us?
All right, roll perception check for Night Eyes.
I'm gonna take my horse to pass the cart.
All right, well, you're going to be traveling at like half walking pace as you guys push the cart back down to a point you can turn it around.
Yeah, but Agnes ain't strong.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's why I was gonna give it another try.
Night Eyes does not see any lizard snake things trying to tear after you and bite you, so that seems to be all good.
Yay, thanks, Night Eyes. Right, to push this cart backwards until we can turn it around.
So
Yeah.
it takes you about an hour or so of carefully manipulating the cart backwards, reversing it and steering it is an interesting challenge. And also making sure it doesn't go running off and running over Agnes in front of you is also an interesting challenge. But you are eventually able to get to a point in the path where it's beginning to get wider, but there seems to be a sort of lay-by and a bit of flat ground where you can sort of turn it, and you're able to pretty much get it facing the right way, squeeze the horses past and reattach them. At this point, Cerno is now no longer horsey.
Okay. An awkward 3-point turn.
It was more like an 8 to 9 point turn, but it was essentially done.
Sweet.
Can we put the 2 horses on to attach them to the cart?
Yes, you can.
If that is alright with Nar to use his horse, which no longer likes him.
Yeah, fucking go for it. Like I said, I'm not gonna talk
horse
Southern
over.
tonight.
Okay.
I imagine Savangale's just been like stood on the back of the horse the whole time, like straight.
Just on all fours, just licking the horse's mane.
Giving it a bath.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At one point in time, you look back and go, "Wait, where's Savangale?" And you notice she's just clinging to the side, just cleaning its legs.
You nearly choked on my drink. Jeez. This is an amazing image.
I love our bard so much.
The best bard.
I want a cat like Savangale, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I'm like somewhat allergic to
I've
cats.
had a thought. An aardvark bard.
What?
Sorry. An aardvark bard.
Oh. I don't get it. Anyways.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just keep going.
All right. So you are now beginning to. You continue making it down the road with both horses hitched to the cart. All of you have to be in the cart unless Sano is pulling horse duty again.
Uh,
I'm not entirely sure why he would.
I was gonna say,
Zano will just sit in the cart. Probably sit in the front seat next to whoever's driving or driving himself.
All right. Well, you have to, as you continue traveling along, you have to camp in the when night starts to fall. It is you're not quite into the forest yet. You're still somewhat up the mountain, but you each take shifts during the night, and nothing seems to be too out of the ordinary. You don't get caught up by giant lizard things trying to eat you, so that's a good sign.
Yum, 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 yum.
The morning comes, and you get back to your traveling. And this time you are now traveling through the forest. And as you enter again, you notice that there's a sort of gentle fog across the floor. Not really obscuring anything, but it's noticeable. The trees grow thick and close together, moss sort of lining and slowly growing up the sides. The path twists and turns, but you follow along. So,
has the fog got thicker since before?
roll a perception check.
Roll or what?
Perception.
Perception. I muted the music part. Why am I still hearing it?
I'll just mute and unmute and then remute. 12?
I did.
The fog seems to be car going past. The fog seems to be about as thick as it was beforehand. Doesn't seem to be much change. You get a feeling it might be a natural thing. Maybe there's some streams nearby or such.
Mm-hmm.
Your travel slowly continues. And you get about halfway through the forest when you must camp again for the night. Now, who's on what shifts?
I'm gonna
That's
go first.
That's not
Okay.
suspicious at all, sub. That's
I
not
heard the
suspicious.
smile in your
Of course
voice
not.
just then.
Yeah, I know, right? You totally
go.
heard just like the. Oh wait, I get to
I'll
take
go
a long
second.
rest.
Mm,
How do I mess with them now?
Who's gonna die this time?
Just randomly roll initiative, randomly ask for perception, and just be like, oh no, that's alright then.
Why is it-
Yeah. And whilst you're
My long
rolling, why
rest.
don't you roll your perception and then everyone roll 3 death saving throws and let's see what happens from there.
Awesome.
Who doesn't have
So who's going first?
vision?
Nah, and he got 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
go with Nas.
I said I'll go
So it's Nar, then
Agnes.
Agnes, then
So I was happy to
Eh.
take one of the watches.
then Sano.
Takes next.
Can Seven go take a watch with Nar?
All right, we'll Nar and Savangel.
Shall I take my watch with Cerno then, since he doesn't have dark vision?
That means we have 3 watches.
Oh, we need 4.
Yeah,
I'll
four's probably-
send Night Eyes with Cerno then, and Night Eyes gets sleeps whilst I'm on my watch then.
All right,
It's only fair.
Sano and Night Eyes, and then
We
last
trust you with Night Eyes.
Arsene. Okay,
Right.
so if we have Savangel also roll. Right, we did 13 and a 6. All right, well, Savangel, as you're just kind of sat around, keeping an eye out, did you have a fire lit out of curiosity?
Nope.
All right, no fire. Because I believe Nar does not have dark vision.
I do not have the dark vision.
So
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you. Actually,
you
I'm
don't.
kinda curious.
Dragonborns don't.
Okay.
So whilst Nar is
Huh?
sat on watch, Savangal,
Yeah.
you an hour or so
She
in.
didn't mute herself. Sophie hasn't muted her.
Yeah.
There you go. She's muted. Oh shit! No, that was my mute. There we go. Now she's muted. So if he messaged me when you're done, and I'll unmute you. Right. So Savangal, as you are just sat on watch, about an hour or so in, you hear the gentle sounds of.
You know, that sounds not fucking right now.
As the blue dragonborn, who's meant to be on watch with you, has fallen asleep.
Savago would like to take this opportunity to take out her disguise kit and make him a pretty princess.
Oh my
Yes.
fucking god.
Yes.
Do it.
Nah.
All right.
Do it.
Roll a performance
With advantage?
with proficiency.
Is that
Well, I
was
mean,
just like a +2?
wait, would it be performance? Actually, I would say
Oh,
I would say dexterity and proficiency. So
I mean, she did good.
I mean, she did.
7 was perform. You know, what, we'll just take that anyway.
Mm.
I mean, my dex is +3, so
And proficient. Yeah. So I mean, it's not too far off, to be honest. Anyway. So, oh god, yeah, I forgot Seven Girls a bard, so like none of yous are negative. So with a 21, how do you make Nar a pretty princess?
all right. So first of all, I give him a makeover on his scale, so that way now all the scales that's on his face has
my
now
God.
turned into a varying shade of gradients of of a rainbow.
Yes.
Oh my
All right.
god.
And then the tips of his horns have pink bows that are also dyed pink, that are also dyed purple, just to accentuate the pinkness.
All right. Well, come the end of your watch, you have spent a very long time making Nar as pretty as you can. It is now Agnes's turn.
Okay.
All right. So with a 20.
Agnes doesn't react to seeing the Dragonborn.
She just ignores
She
him.
just,
So
like, looks at the cat.
guys just leave him out there sleeping.
I would.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I know
I'm
all
not
of
moving
us
him.
He's still there sleeping.
I can just about
So-
pick up Cerno.
With 20, there's just a of Nar breathing deeply whilst he's asleep.
Does
about-
Dayron see anything?
Hang on. Also, no, he's just kind of floating above Nar in a sort of cat-like curled up motion and just bobbing ever so slightly up and down in time with his deep breathing.
Oh. Bless him.
But Agnes, about halfway through your shift, you begin to feel like there's something not quite right. And as you glance around, you notice that off into the distance, there appears to be two spots of light being reflected straight back at you.
As in eyes?
It's hard to tell, but you assume it could be.
How far off?
You're talking probably about 40 or so feet.
Then I'll be able to see what it is.
Oh no.
Or is it like...
You think it's about 40 feet away.
Wait, hold on. Would I be counted as a short rest?
We all got a long rest the first night.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
we're
Right.
up to
Yeah, you all
full.
got a long
Yeah.
rest the first night. You guys are you
I'm
guys are all
surprised.
rested up from the basilisks, essentially.
Okay.
Appears to be intermingled in the trees, just off in the distance. Just unblinking orbs just seemingly staring at you.
I go to wake Nard, then remember he can't see shit. So I
Actually,
wait
probably more akin to 60. The
to 60
horses-
feet.
Yeah, the horses don't seem to be asleep and perfectly fine themselves.
I will wake Arsene.
All right.
So they've slept some bit.
So you shake Arsene awake.
What do you think of that?
What?
Roll a perception check, Arsene.
What?
Oh no, they're gonna think I'm going mad.
Again.
Agnes points in a sort of general direction, and you look, and it. Actually, that is wisdom based, and you are in a forest. What does your favorite terrain give you?
Oh, forgot about the
Advantage.
other terrain.
Double proficiency, so that's actually a 16.
Ooh, even better.
So Arsene doesn't think Agnes is going mad.
So, where Agnes is talking about orbs staring at her, you can't really see anything of that, but something about the forest seems off. The fog, which is swirling along the floors, and bearing in mind this is just at the cusp of Arsene's dark vision, because Agnes's special has 180 feet.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Really thought I have disadvantage in dim light.
Yeah, but we're saying night eyes is helping you here.
No, my feet. My feet? No, never mind.
Yeah, no, your feet's Gloomstalker, isn't it?
Skulker.
Oh no, Skulker. Dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on your perception checks anyway. So yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, because Night Eyes is asleep currently.
Yep. So
Yeah.
still all good.
Still
So
good.
the fog, which you don't quite see these orbs which Agnes is talking about, but the fog, which is now just something you've come to accept as part of the forest floor, appears to swirl in sort of weird ways, and there's maybe, I mean, you can't really call it a shadow since there's hardly any light in this forest anyway, but something definitely not quite right in the area to which Agnes is pointing.
Could shoot it in the direction.
I could take a pot shot. I'll hide first. Then I'll take a pot shot. Can I do that?
Certainly roll stealth. I tried.
Try not to hit it directly, but in the area.
Yeah. Like I'll shoot past, just slightly past it. If I can.
Well, Arsene doesn't see the orbs, do they?
No, she just
I
sees the
see
sort
the
of.
area you're
She
pointing in.
just sees the sort of shape,
Mm.
and it's a. Or I mean, it's again, it's right on sort of the cusp of her vision.
It's the freaking owl.
Who did we lose?
Sophie?
Sophie.
I bet you it's the freaking owl that Cerno saw.
Oh yeah.
I never trusted it.
So you draw back an arrow and you say thunk.
Oh.
I'm sorry, did something catch and snap it? What?
You're
Did
not
I hit
entirely sure.
something?
Agnes, make a perception check.
Oh no. Again?
Yeah. With a natural 20, Agnes, you see the arrow skim off the side of something before lodging into a tree.
Do the orbs react?
They seem to blink.
And I'm waking everyone up now.
What the hell have you shot?
What? Arsene didn't hit it, but yeah, I start waking everyone up. Not taking my eyes off it, just like move my arms about.
As
Really
you start to
bizarre
move, you
action.
just hear a low, grumbling voice go, "Now that's not very nice, is it?"
Free. Do I recognize the voice?
Sorry.
I still
Actually,
freeze because I don't trust anything.
Well, I'm positive I'm not hidden.
Make an
Is the
intelligence
pretty
check,
princess
Agnes.
awake?
Oh no.
Yeah.
I would have hit Nar, would have been the first person to hit.
Smack him right on the
Before intelligence. Oh, that's a straight intel. Where is it? +2. Again. Mm.
Okay, the voice is. You think that you may have heard it before, but you can't place it.
Okay, but if he before he said that, I would have at least broken up Nar.
No, as you turn to move,
No?
you heard the voice say that.
Oh, okay.
I said sorry out loud.
Who are you?
Just the orbs staring at you.
It's not very
Well,
nice to
now.
stare at people.
Now, you ask. Shoot first, ask later, huh?
That's pretty much.
You could have been an animal. We shot to scare rather
I
than
didn't
hurt.
mean to actually
You hear
hit you.
just heavy footsteps. Although, for what you're now beginning to understand as a large creature, it's making them quite lightly. And this does come into Arsene's dark vision.
Oh no.
A giant green-scaled head with emerald eyes.
Oh.
Alright, I'll transition to the battle map.
Yay!
Oh God, no!
So we're gonna have to deal with this guy eventually, huh?
We're gonna have to fight it eventually.
It's not making any aggressive movements. It's just stood
Okay, true.
watching. And now its head is within your vision.
So, do I
Blissful
recognize it
ignorance.
as a oh god, as a dragon. It's very obvious it's a dragon. Or some
It's
kind.
quite obvious at this point.
Well, apologize
The
again.
eyes, the size,
panic.
the green scales. It's, kind of adding up.
To say, I'm sorry you scared us. Honestly, we've had a rough couple of days traveling up and down the mountain. Didn't mean
You
for it
come
to-
into my home and think it wise to shoot me.
We'll leave.
You live there.
We're on
Okay.
our way out right now. But yep, leaving, going, gone, not coming back ever again.
I know you're leaving. Not coming back seems a bit presumptuous.
It didn't sound like you wanted us to come back, which is fair, honestly.
You did just try and shoot me.
No, we
Not
shot in the
very well.
area. You could have been anything.
And yet you shot anyway.
We've been
Scared.
jumped
Been
a
a
few too
friend.
many times. Was it, sir?
Could have been a friend.
All our friends are with us.
Is that so?
Oh, we could be friends if you like. I don't
If I
know.
recall,
Maybe
there was
we
another
should.
with you.
Yeah, he's with not with us. He's off doing his own thing.
Dad just said.
There are two
Don't
separate
want
girls
to
on the
know.
map, by the way, sub.
Is
Yeah.
there a reason you were passing by?
It's his domain.
I mean,
whisper
yes, but
aggressively.
he was staring directly at the camp.
What are you asking, Comet?
There's 2 7 girls on the map. Just FYI.
Where?
There's one right under her, I see it. Zoom. Enhance.
What?
What?
There is a 7
What?
girl right under. So we've got
What?
our 7 girl, but then we've got the
On
old
what
7
stream?
girl. Does no one else see that? Am I just
It's
insane?
on stream.
I don't see a second Savin gal.
Look on
No.
stream!
We-
Seriously!
It's on stream, but it's not on our map.
Yeah, on stream, but it's seriously, it's
No.
not on my Roll20, dude.
What the flip?
Yeah, there's only one Savin gal.
What
What
the
is going on?
Roll 20?
Nightmare.
What the flip are you up to?
Do you see me moving the Southern Girl around?
Yeah, I see you moving the other salmon girl. Like, our
Meow,
salmon
meow.
girl.
Yeah, that's weird.
Technical difficulties.
No,
Oh,
I'm not
and you
even
can
gonna-
try like refreshing, perhaps, Scarlet.
Alright, I'll try.
Might help.
Technical difficulties. Na na na
I'm
na na
so
na
scared,
na
guys.
na.
You're not in
na,
battle yet,
Na
so-
na 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 na.
Yeah.
We're about to die.
Anyway.
Why am I?
What? You asked why he was there.
Yes.
Okay, now it's
This
gone.
is my home. I like to keep tabs on those in my home.
Completely
Fair enough.
understandable. Yep. I would too if I had a home this big. It's very impressive.
Just didn't think we were that interested to watch.
I seem to scan you both up and down.
Just remember that Agnes is wearing a necklace full of dragon scales. Mm. Awkward.
Oh, night I wasn't sleeping. Please don't. Dragon Ball wine.
May we help you then?
Oh, you already are.
How so?
Oh.
You are. No, I guess I shall leave you be.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. I do apologize again
The head
about
seems to
the
swing
island.
back slightly before you notice that the sort of size shifts. The shadow kind of seems to now stand up, and you realize that this dragon was probably crawling around on its belly. And as it stands, you begin to get an idea of the scale and realize from when you last encountered him in battle, he has grown.
Great. Great, David. Thanks. Lord.
As the head sort of raises up, perhaps I will warn you that you may want to avoid the hag known as Matilda. She roams these woods.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. We shall be very careful.
Why the hell is it helping us?
I don't know, and it scares me.
And the head sort of slowly withdraws, and the form,
Guys,
now at the size to which it is, starts to walk away.
guys, the reason why it's helping us, like, it's our friend from preschool. We know we.
Is Dayron
we-
off?
No, Dayron's still floating above now.
Oh, I just saw him move.
What is this? Don't understand.
Agnes is just sat there, just staring. Just, okay.
That just happens, right?
And the large form seems to shift off. And again, you notice that the heavy footsteps you would expect in the forest appear to be muffled, and the sound of moving trees is quiet. And it's really not long before any sign of this creature having been near you guys is gone.
Can
I
I?
feel like this dragon's gonna become one of our greatest allies.
Okay.
Oh, great enemies. Oh,
Do I
wonderful.
transition
That's
back
so
to the other
calm,
screen
Michael.
sub, or are we?
Yeah, you can transition back.
Okay.
Can I check? Can I try and investigate this fog a bit more? Since there's just something not right with it.
No, Atlas, we do not want to eat the dragon.
Mate, can I
No.
tell if
No.
it's magical of any kind?
No, Atlas, no.
I know it says I can't get lost by magical means in my favorite terrain, but
You can get lost only by magical means in your favorite terrain.
only, sorry,
Hey, at least we know
I
that
can't read.
your spell was correct.
It's true. God damn it.
Ugh.
What is it? Natural
I've
explorer.
already
your
forgotten the
proficiency
name
level,
of the
skills.
he said to listen to.
While traveling for an
Matilda.
hour.
Matilda.
Difficult terrain your group can't become lost except by magical means. You remain alert to your danger and even. What's your favorite? And what's your favorite enemy?
Beast.
Dragon.
Oh yeah, beasts. All right.
Dragon.
So this would
Frog Ranger.
be make a nature check.
Oh shit. I haven't made a nature check in like forever.
Uh,
Hell yeah. Oh wait, I get to. Oh, I don't have any
your
proficiency. Never
proficiency
mind.
bonus is doubled if it's but you don't
If
have
it
proficiency
exists.
bonus with it. So unfortunately, it is not.
Curse my
So-
stupidity.
With a 16, well, it's not unnatural for there to be fogs. You haven't seen any rivers or streams nearby for the fog to come from. So it doesn't seem too. I mean, it doesn't seem entirely out of the ordinary. But the fact that it seems to be a semi-permanent fog, at least it doesn't seem to have moved from the last time you were here. About same thickness and layer. Means it might be something else other than a natural creation. You're not entirely sure.
Do we know anything about hags?
Roll an intelligence check.
Oh, I'm rolling all. I just keep rolling the same stuff.
Yeah, no. You don't. Hags are those nice people who give kids candy, right?
That's sort of
That's all we had in our village.
Okay. Well, my turn for watch if you want to try and sleep.
Try, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I can't.
watch. My watch.
Yeah, it's Sano and Night Eyes' watch.
Oh yeah, I'm last. Never mind.
Do you,
It was- I forgot.
you want to try and sleep again?
I mean, you don't have to wake Sano up. You could take your watch and then wake him up.
Yeah, might as well. I'm already up. Sorry, Sano, you're last now.
Okay.
All right. So roll your perception.
Best to last.
God damn it.
With a 12, you don't exactly notice anything else. I mean, you're kind of jumpy and jittery now. You're scanning around, pretty much keeping an eye out for anything which could be a giant dragon hiding in the foliage.
Mhm.
Which you realize now, it seems weird at how easy it was able to do so. And that, but the feeling that Agnes must have had very sharp eyes to be able to even spot what she did.
I'm very impressed.
Other than that, there seems to be almost no sound coming from the rest of the forest. Except for the from Nah.
So the forest will be really quiet then.
And if our scene should hear two of them, they run.
Yep. And to which now comes Susano's watch.
Sano and Night Eyes. I warn Night Eyes and Sano.
Do you
No, I
you
warn
tell
Night
him?
Eyes of the dragon.
Okay, you
Sano.
do tell him about everything. Okay.
Not Cerno.
Just Night Eyes or Night Eyes and Sano?
just Night Eyes.
Sano, I love you, but your track record with stressful situations isn't great.
You're panicking.
Okay.
I'm bad, and
Your
then
top
there's
secret clearance has been revoked.
I'll tell you in the morning.
So he's going to be
You're just
none the
Night Eyes
wiser.
for now.
He is none the wiser. Okay.
Sano, make a perception check.
So does Night Eyes, right?
alright.
I will allow this to essentially not be allow Sano the ability to make a perception check with Night Eyes
Without
being around
disadvantage.
to notice things beyond 5 feet in front of his face.
Okay. That's a 10.
Well, he notices Night Eyes, who's not 5 feet in front of his face. Other than that, quite a restful watch. Nothing really disturbs you. Creatures seem to be smart enough to stay away. Night Eye seems to be incredibly on guard for some weird reason. But you assume day is beginning to come because you're actually being able to make out a bit more than pitch black as the sort of dim emerald light shines through the tree leaves. And you awake everyone else.
So, watch went well.
Yeah, it's nice and quiet.
That's good.
Why?
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah.
If it's the concern I woke Agnes, she probably like jump started and almost hit him. Just like, no.
Yeah. Well, now that everyone's up and awake, we might have had a visitor last night, but it's okay.
What?
Oh,
It's fine.
what?
Fine.
Weirdly, fine.
Surprisingly, I thought.
What happened?
You remember our dear old green friend with the wings and the scales?
I wouldn't call him a friend, but yes.
Well, he might be now, which is kind of
Oh.
concerning.
Very weird. Well,
So, no,
if-
make a nature check.
Okay, that's a +1, I think. Let me double check. Where's nature on here? There. Yeah, +1.
Oh yeah, a druid who's not good with nature. or
I'm better with animals, okay?
amazing.
Ha! Suck it! That's a 19.
With a 19, the few things which your master told you about dragons is with the dragons, don't trust the chromatics. With the chromatics, don't trust the green ones, they're smart.
Yeah, no. No.
This
Don't buy
is
it.
Definitely not.
Don't buy it.
true. Don't
That
buy
thing
it. Of
does want
course
to eat
not.
us.
He's trying to trick us.
I mean,
But
I don't know what he's trying to get out of it. He said we are helping him somehow, though he wouldn't tell us how. Also,
What-
he gave us advice to avoid a Matilda, a hag.
oh, wait. Yeah.
I don't know.
That lives in these woods?
Yes, I assume just a hermit. I don't really know.
I think we should just
Part
get
of-
out of here as quickly as we can.
Part of me wants to say yes, let's do. Then again, if it does want us to avoid it, maybe we should find them.
Why
You
don't
wish to
we?
go
But then
track
again,
down-
maybe that's what it
Oh,
wants
yeah.
us to think.
Why don't we focus on our current priorities? Come back to us later.
This is true.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. It's
We have a deadline.
Yeah.
just confusing.
Could always ask around town. Maybe someone knows. We
Ask
just-
Matilda.
But but what if it is just? It's like, oh, be wary of Matilda. Really, he wants us to find Matilda. Why are dragons smart? Not fair.
Smarter
Oh,
than
okay.
you.
Yes, I know. I will
We
agree
need
with that.
to go and focus on our current situation, and then find out about this old lady called Matilda. Maybe.
Yeah.
See how we feel.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh boy. You
All right. So you saddle back the horse. Well, not saddle. You put the horses back onto the cart. Pack up your camp of only 3 tents. Board the cart, and starts to follow the road back out of this forest. It takes a bit of time, but eventually you come to the edge as the trees get sparser and sparser, and the light is actually able to shine in. The fog around the horses' hooves and the wheels slowly disperses, seemingly not leaving the shadows and shade of the forest. It seems to be a relatively nice day. A few clouds in the sky. Sun's bright. A little bit of chill to the wind. But the open plains now stand before you and Mapletide. With 8 days left, you continue forwards at a brisk pace.
Has anyone noticed the makeover? I mean, Agnes would have, but she was intentionally ignoring it.
Agnes, you know what? I think it would be very hard to not notice the makeover. The question is, does anyone react and inform Na of this makeover?
I try to keep quiet.
Cerno is questioning whether or not he should.
I think it's an improvement. I messed up
thanks.
that.
Like,
Oh,
Lana
wow.
on the horse looking super proud of herself.
He
Savangel
he
thumbs
looks
up.
to the side and looks at Savangal, and he just nods.
She just purrs.
Nods with
Well,
like
Na,
an
everyone
impressed
seems
nod.
to keep on glancing at you.
Is there something on my face, or what the hell?
Do I have something
Yeah,
that's
good.
reflective that could show him a reflection?
I think Agnes
You-
has a small mirror.
I do. What's your point?
Can I borrow the mirror? Could I borrow your small mirror, please, Agnes?
If you so wish.
Thank you. And then he walks over to Na and he sort of hands it up, holds it up in front of his face.
You're a spoil sport.
I look at myself. He takes a good long look. And he just sighs. It's the biggest sigh, just like.
To be honest, I think it's a sign that the cat likes you.
I think it looks great.
Mm.
I'm not wearing this into town.
You'll wear it
Oh,
on
it's
the road, though.
a couple of days to get it off. Good luck.
Sono then takes the mirror back and gives it back to Agnes.
I sit for the rest of the journey, cross-armed, annoyed, trying to get the fucking makeup off.
Hey, wait, Sono's over carrying capacity?
What?
Is it money?
Yeah, here it is.
God damn it!
Is it my money?
It's not
I put
Agnes.
Sono is £32 over carrying capacity.
Is there anything you
What
wish
am
to put in
I-
the bag of holding?
I don't know what I've. Well, I've got a hunting trap. I say I leave that in the cart. That's immediately
probably.
25.
I don't think you carry around £25 worth of hunting trap with you most of the time.
No.
Mm.
So I'd leave that in the cart. Probably leave my herbalism kit in the cart as well, so that's 28. I'll probably leave all my books in the cart as well, so, you know. I'm not. That's like.
But yeah, I assumed the books. It's not taking into account the books, though. God.
Is it
I mean, you
not?
do have 10 one-day rations, which are like £20 total.
I probably just
Yeah, I
leave
took
all the
all
stuff I
five
don't need in
in-
the cart, to be honest. I've just got it there so I know I have it. And it belongs to me.
Yeah. I was just informing you that you're apparently
Yeah,
over
no,
carrying capacity.
I've been aware of it for a while.
Your leather armor you don't wear.
And
that's
I
heavy.
got told off for it.
I think you're more over than he is.
It's not the point.
Yeah, your carrying capacity is 135, and
I have the
you're
bag
at
of holding now.
239, whereas Cerno's is only 150, and he's currently at 182. There's a
That
slight difference.
includes some of Savangal's instruments.
This is now true, but just pointing it out. Anyway, the following 2.5 days allows you to return to Mapletide. The trail is relatively alright as you get further and further away from the forest. The road widens. It's still not a very oftenly used road, and you're almost trailblazing at parts of it. But you are slowly and methodically making your way through. On
Just
the
to
second
check,
day,
there's no signs of a big green thing behind us, is there?
roll a perception check.
Oh god.
He may just be doing that because you asked. Wow, okay.
There's green everywhere. Oh wait, it's grass. Yes, there is no sign of a green-scaled dragon following you.
You made me waste a nat 20 on that. God.
Although I will say, whilst you were traveling through the forest, there were one or two
Mm-mm.
times which you believed you may have seen something like emerald eyes staring at you. But when you went to look again, they had already gone.
Is that just because Agnes is a paranoid piece of shit?
You don't know.
Well,
It may be because Agnes is paranoid, or it may be because green dragons are super stealthy in their home. And the forest literally bends around them. You don't know.
Woo.
Can Seven Go cast see invisible to see if the dragon is being magical?
Ooh.
Seeing invisibility does not reveal an invisible green dragon.
How does that not work? See,
Because-
invisible doesn't make it not.
Because the dragon is not invisible.
You just said it. It's invisible.
The
I never said
dragon's
that.
a sneaky son of a
You said
bitch.
see invisibility
it is,
doesn't
no.
reveal an
Reveal an invisible green dragon.
so it's invisible. It's just
No.
No,
It's
it's
stating there
not.
is no invisible green dragon to see with see invisibility.
oh, shut up.
Seven Go can see the invisible for an hour, so she's gonna have fun looking at all the invisible stuff.
You can also
Can
see
she
into the.
Day.
She cannot. No, she cannot. But she can actually see
Oh.
into the ethereal plane.
Oh no. Does
Which
she
actually,
see?
I would like for Savangel to make a perception check.
Seven girl make a sanity check.
The ethereal plane is not somewhere of insanity. All right,
What would you roll for sanity?
21. That would either be constitutional wisdom.
Me?
Awesome.
No. Ninja was asking what you'd roll for insanity, so I was saying it was either constitutional wisdom. But you don't need to. The ethereal plane does not drive people insane.
Yet.
No, it doesn't. You guys and your planes. Well, Savangel, you've heard of the ethereal plane. It's essentially a plane to which travel is easier, and it's quite interesting because things on the ethereal plane act differently to the three prime planes that you're aware of, that being the Shadowfell, the Feywild, and the Material Plane. On the ethereal plane, things like object permanence, not permanency, well, I guess object permanency and the whole gravity thing don't really apply. So one can quite easily float around and pass through objects when in the ethereal plane, and this is actually taken to great effect by some creatures, including a spider, which you see at one point in time, a large creature just kind of scurrying around, about the size of your horse. It pays no heed or mind to you.
Is that a face spider?
It could be.
Odd is not happy now. Odd is not happy. Odd. Don't worry, man. He's going away.
The face spider does not come over to say hello.
Oh, good.
You seem
Aw.
to just catch it in your field of vision before it disappears. Right. So
Seven Go just looking around enjoying the sights.
there are a few other weird creatures. There is the occasional spirits-like entity just floating around.
We're probably not seeing much difference in Seven really.
No, she's just kind of head darting all over the place, just like she normally is,
Mhm.
unless she's napping.
Like I
Is
said,
there-
I want to
twitching.
like Seven Go.
I love that we warned those goblins and hobgoblins of the green dragon in its own domain.
Mm.
Hey, be careful of the green dragon. You're traveling through its home.
We didn't know it at that time.
Right, so eventually you come across the stables outside the gates of
Alright, give me
Mapletide.
1 second. I'll be right back.
Go to our normal stables.
Normal stables.
Olivia.
Olivia is delighted to see you.
We're back.
Wonderful! How many days? How many horses?
2 horses. Days unsure.
Do you want to pay for a couple and then come back?
Yes.
Or do you want to pay 1 day and then come back tomorrow and pay more?
I will say 2 days.
2 days? All right, for 2 horses for 2 days.
And the
You
cart?
and the cart. You're looking at 2 gold and 3 silver. And as you hand over the coins yet again, you hear the familiar cry, "Frederick!"
Frederick.
And the young elven chap comes running over and starts helping Olivia with the unhitching of the horses, putting the cart into the correct place, taking the horses out into the field. You know, making sure they're seen to. As interesting as their business ideas may be, they do know how to take and look after horses.
To the inn?
Well,
If
sure
you give me
knows
a second, because first of all, ninjas disappear quickly, and second of all, I want to go close me door.
Well, I mean, I just got back.
You still need to close the door.
Go close the door.
Go and
I will grab
find
my
the
item.
other cat.
Right, I'm back.
We go
I'm
find the other
also
cat.
back, and I have pumpkin pie ice cream. Oh, that's fucking delicious.
I'm just going to say, if we did this with like webcams, you would just always see when I'm breaking into a smile.
Oh god.
uh,
I would be very scared. I wouldn't trust Sub at all.
No.
Why are you smiling?
to be honest,
Why
I
the
wouldn't mind
fucking
doing a
smile on your
webcam.
face?
My hair always looks like this anyway.
I wouldn't mind it either.
Well, I'm always in bed when we're playing because I've got nowhere else to go. I don't want this.
Not everyone has
Anyway.
to do it.
Yeah, that would just be me constantly just smiling
You're
and
the only
going, I
one
don't
we
trust
want."
him, I don't trust him, I don't trust him.
I
Not
know,
just
right?
Jim, I'd be fucking screaming it too.
can confirm Nate has biggest, evilest grin on his face.
I
when
don't
playing
trust him when he
Mhm.
speaks. I don't trust him when he doesn't speak. I don't. Mhm.
Fun
Well, I
I
fact.
don't trust him when he
That
smiles,
evil-
I don't trust him
get
when
out
he
with
doesn't.
him whenever we play D&D.
So you see him multitasking, like making notes whilst talking, and like, this isn't good.
That evil DM, evil DM profile, pretty accurate.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, you would see me always glancing off to the side, and you would be able to tell when I'm doing things because either you guys are going off track or you're doing something which I didn't quite expect, or I'm going, ah, shit, where did I write down that bit of information? Which happens a
Definitely
lot,
that one
considering
comes
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 different tabs open.
Whew.
My brain. My
One of
So
them
we go
is on
find
its
him.
Twitch.
brain.
So we go and find the cat.
All right. Well, you make your way back to the crystal tankard. Find the Dragonborn behind the counter. The silver Dragonborn behind the counter. And head up towards what you recall being your room after waving a friendly hello and exchanging small chit-chat. You are directed to the room to which Kimi has apparently been staying in. And you approach the door.
Not.
There's a couple of seconds before you hear, "Oh,
Asleep.
Kitty.
and the of a back perhaps clicking before the door creaks open and the relatively black cat with the splodges white around her paws and on her face appears Ah, you are back. Do you have what I asked for?
I hold out both of them.
Well, we don't so much need that one. And she kind of flicks the poison one, but picks up the one from the stone, which you notice one's a bit more green in color, one's a bit more grey. Her claws seem to kind of come out slightly and do dig into it ever so slightly. As she picks it up and sort of looks it over, sniffs, and then just heads into the room, leaving the door slightly ajar.
Zana's gonna peek.
Oh.
Well, as you sort of peek in through the door, which as you sort of try and lean around it, just swings open, you notice that in the room, all the furniture has been stacked onto the bed. Everything else is just space. There appears to be a makeshift altar in the center of the room, and Agnes's sharp eyes realize her chest is not in this pile that is on the bed. There is a cloth draped over this makeshift altar. It is actually rather interesting. You do notice from sort of the center appears to be sort of white. As it spreads further and further out, it goes through all the different colors of what you would expect a flame to be. The white being hottest, obviously, all the way out to the coolest being a dark red. And upon this cloth lies a boar. He is in a bit too big to be lying on the chest comfortably without bits of him kind of hanging off like his legs. But his arms are
like relaxed, lean back, like.
his arms are across his chest. His eyes are closed with the coppers still in place. That took some luck. That one did. And the he is on top of this sort of drape over the chest. Around the outside of this cloth are different blacksmithing implements seemingly embroidered into it. And as she kind of jumps back into the room, Kimi then just pulls out, with her paw, she just extends an additional claw from her other paw and just digs into the salivary gland, cutting into it. As stuff starts to ooze out, she just kind of smears it over Boar's chest.
Oh.
Before stopping, looking at it, going over to the window, opening it, and just chucking the rest of the gland outside before closing the window.
Did someone scream?
You hear a yeah down below.
This is all that matters.
The cat now sets about with an interesting amount of accuracy, throwing small amounts of sacred fire at candles to light them. You assume there might be a slightly easier way of doing this, but she's done it this way so many times, she's actually quite skilled at doing so.
Show off.
As sacred bits of fire sort of flash out from her paws and just about hit wicks and light them, you notice that about 7 or so candles have been arranged throughout the room. And she turns to look at you guys and goes, well, I'm assuming you want to start.
I'm actually gonna use my southern accent, even though I feel horrible. If it's alright with you guys, I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna leave y'all to it.
All right. That's
I
what
don't think this is something you want me to be involved in.
Go easy on the drinks.
I can't promise that. And I go and start drinking.
Alrighty then.
I'll just have 3.
Good.
I've
Oh,
heard
you
that
might
said
as well,
many a
might as
time.
well make a constitution saving.
Oh, goddamn you.
I'll just have one. Says the
I'll
drunk
just have.
at the bar.
I'll
That's
just have
12
3.
copper.
Well, the 20 plus. What is it? The saving though, or is it just?
Yeah, constitution saving throw. So for Nah, that is a +3.
Oh God.
Yeah, you've been sober for about 4 or 5 days now. And the taste of alcohol, oh boy, it almost wipes you out. You are relatively drunk by the end of your third one.
Is it copper?
Yeah, 12
Alright.
copper.
God damn.
In the room, I want Agnes. Agnes is going to push Cerno forward and then stand at the back of the room.
Shall we start? Yes?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Mhm.
When I
Yes.
start the ritual, there will be time for you to offer encouragement for the soul to return to its body.
I will like to add the detail of Zerno can't look at the body for more than a few seconds before having to turn his head away.
Shit. Don't
Okay.
make me feel bad. Thank you. Bastard. Oh, this is where I'm gonna get upset. God damn it. Do
Yes,
I
so
need to leave the room?
if anyone wishes to help, it could be quite beneficiary.
Yeah, if we
Alright.
can.
Then I shall start. And that she reaches back and pulls out a relatively large diamond, about the size of her paw. It's not the best cup, but it's quite large. And to which she then sort of puts it onto Boar's chest, removes the 2 coppers from his eyes, and pockets those. Before starting the ritual, to which it starts with a slow sort of muttered prayer underneath her breath, which most of you guys can't really work out. In fact, who here speaks? I don't think anyone speaks Celestial.
No, I don't.
No.
Nope.
Oh, no, you don't.
Speak the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, Kimi also speaks Abyssal, but that's not what she's speaking right now. Kimi speaks a lot of things. Anyway, so it sort of start low muttering before it slowly grows louder and louder, and it seems to have a harmony to what she's saying, and the language, even though you don't understand it, is relatively beautiful for a language. Things seem to rhyme. And as she talks, you notice that the candles their flames seem to grow in size, and the colours on the cloth, which is underneath Boar, seem to start to almost flow slightly. And as these candles, their flames grow larger, you notice that the shadows in the room grow darker, and it seems to, eerily enough, grow darker despite the increase in light. And as she's just slowly chanting, she kind of gestures to you guys to add your input. And so, who would like to try and help with this resurrection ritual?
The Zerno will step up to the plate then, I guess.
I'll
And
help
what does
if
he
I
do
can,
to try
but
and help?
He puts his hands together and, without taking them apart, the tops of his fingers just sort of clap together. Clap your hands. And he's come, boy. He's come
All right.
back.
I would say roll a religion.
Okay. That's just +1. Okay. Oh fuck me. Okay.
Nice.
That's a natural 20.
Pretty damn good. All right. Anyone else?
I'll slowly make my way forward. Take out the little bag of sweets I still have that Bull gave to me. Put them down. Sit down as well.
All right.
Really hope this works for Guy.
Make a just make a persuasion check.
Wait, what is it?
It's the little bag of sweets you got me. You didn't finish eating them, but didn't feel right.
All right.
Look, not
Come
Go
down.
away.
Or Agnes, are you going to contribute?
Agnes walks over and
Bearing in mind,
places.
only one more person can.
Ew. So, would you want to, or should I?
I mean, I do have something for him.
All right, shall we make it Agnes then? She steps
Right.
forward.
She places the wooden lightning bolt charm by him. It'll be good for you to come back, Raw. You seem to make a lot of people happy.
All right.
It's the nicest thing I've ever heard.
Roll a
Agnes say
persuasion
about
as
boy.
well, Agnes.
Something that's not a +2. Yeah.
Hey.
All right. So, I'm assuming Boar is willing to come back.
Yeah,
Should we see if he does?
yeah.
All right. So, as Cerno is now muttering and slowly clapping his hands, Agnes is now next to Arsene is now next to him. Head down, and Agnes is just standing above them with a stern, mothering look on her.
Come back, you make my children happy.
Pretty much. They're not allowed to go yet. They're not. They're not done with you.
Mother hasn't lectured you yet.
All right. So,
No, don't eat it, Atlas.
Oh my god, Atlas.
I can't see chat because my phone's dead. It's charging in the other room.
All you need to know is Atlas wants to eat everything.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
all right. Well,
Atlas. That could be
With-
considered
since-
cannibalism.
as Kimi's chanting slowly comes to an end, the lights begin to. Well, the light in the room seems to brighten as the shadows lighten up, and you notice, quickly looking around, that the candles have actually burnt a significant portion through. They are about halfway burnt compared to when you started this. And Cerno and Arsene, you realize that you've actually been knelt in these positions for over an hour now. However, as the chanting subsides and you glance up at Ball, you question, Sonny, you begin to ask if it's worked, and as you do so, you notice that the diamond to which was placed on his chest is gone. And you feel a little sad until you see that his chest does now slowly begin to rise on itself before and you notice that the chest is now just slowly raising and lowering.
Like that.
He is now alive, but unconscious.
Yep, did it.
Kimi sort of steps back and crouches down into somewhat of a pounce position, breathing somewhat heavily before sort of rubbing her own arms and sort of trying to get the blood flowing back through her limbs and shaking them all out. Before going around one by one, just licking her paws and then extinguishing the candles.
Atlas. No.
What am
no.
I missing? I'm
He
curious.
said kill him again.
No, fuck off, Atlas. I miss my fur baby. No.
Or is
I'll
now
convince
alive.
Purple to kill your
He is-
characters.
I don't think Purple needs much convincing there. But
Nope.
Boar is now alive at 1 HP, but he is currently unconscious.
Should I cast Cure Wounds on him? Should we
Kimi is
cast?
now just busily going around, just tidying up the room.
Cerno,
Agnes is
he's
attempting
kneeling,
to
right?
take the stuff off the bed.
Cerno is still kneeling.
His head's gonna sort of fall forward, and his head's gonna be in between his knees, and he's gonna breathing.
Samangal's just patting Nucerno, like, there. He's back.
Boys, pass the fuck out.
I would like to cast Cure Wounds on him.
Well, as you
to
go
get your-
forward and extend your hand and start to mutter, Kimi gives a sharp glance at you.
Mm.
And you
Should I-
pause momentarily before she kind of steps over and goes, although the gesture is well-meaning, he needs to come back from this on his own. We have
Okay.
done what we can for him. He needs rest.
Agnes in the
Going back.
background is just lugging chairs, really struggling.
Proper sleep.
Coming back from the bed is not. No. And you just hear this collapsing furniture as Agnes has apparently shifted one of the crucial load-bearing chairs and is now somewhat covered in furniture.
Oh.
Oh, the
He
boy's
needs-
gone now.
He needs rest. He will come to. Just remember, he will be slightly different from when he left. And she kind of pops up slightly. You guys now owe me a favor.
Uh-oh.
Yay!
I've already mentioned what you need to do. I would appreciate it. I will allow you
Oh, yes.
a day or so to come to terms with what has happened, and obviously for him to recover, because, just kind of sending you guys out whilst he's pretty much still half dead just seems a tad unfair. It'll take him a few days to come back, but
Atlas, are you hungry? What is with you eating things or wanting us to eat things?
Thank you, Kimi, for your help.
Let's go order some food.
I will.
me
Samangal
some,
just kitty
I'm
snuggles with Kimi and just like is basically on her shoulders now.
As she is having this conversation, you notice that Kimi seems to be growing in height until you realize it's the wrong color fur, as Savangao is now just perched on her shoulders.
Agnes is trying to get out.
Kimi doesn't seem to skip a beat and just starts sort of ruffling one of Savangao's ears and is still talking to Arsene. She goes, well, we'll leave him to rest. I do need to talk to him before you guys leave. He should be right as rain come a couple of days.
Kimi's actually an
Great.
assassin.
Agnes is trying to get out from underneath the furniture.
And with this, she now sort of wanders over with Savangao still balanced on top and starts to try and shift some of the furniture for Agnes to be able to get back up.
Trying to be helpful.
Ah, Atlas, that Skyrim joke. I assume that's a
What's it
Skyrim
say?
joke. If you eat the dragon, you can shout really loudly. I assume that's a Skyrim joke.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't think you
think
eat
that's
the
how it
dragon, though, in Skyrim.
It's like observe the
No, you eat its soul.
Oh, close enough.
You
Soul,
devour
a
a dragon's
lot of
soul
soul
and you gain the
eater.
powers of them. Oh, I mean, you gain the understanding of one of the words which they were able to speak in life.
Obviously.
Anyways.
Okay.
Skyrim. Oh, nerd.
Very
Anyway.
fucker.
So, Boar is currently unconscious, but alive. Nara is downstairs drinking to his heart's content. Agnes has been freed from the chairs from a totem pole of tabaxi. What do people do?
Celebratory
Cerno's still
drinking. I don't know.
shaky breathing on the floor.
Uh,
Got my fur baby back. It's not a bad.
Agnes tries to help put the furniture back with the cats.
Well, eventually the furniture is put back into place. Kimi actually does the sort of trick of whipping the cloth out from underneath the thing on the table. However, it's just done with Boar's body, and she seems quite skilled at it and is able to remove the cloth without Boar even budging an inch. To which she sort of folds up and packs into a bag along with the candlesticks and the candles. before turning to you guys and goes, "Well, shall I leave you be?"
I
Sure.
mean, that is
thank
her
you.
room.
No, it was a room she was staying in.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes, yeah.
I'm assuming you will contact us in a few days? Or, I mean, we're not going anywhere.
I've given you all the information you need.
Yes, for the
what was it again?
undead. Don't we have notes? Notes help me. Let's help
At
investigate.
this point,
Help for an investigation of a rise in the undead that has been happening in Lake Cross about a month back. The undead.
Yeah, you
So we need a
recorded
fucking
what she said
paladin.
down incorrectly. I'm just going to inform you that now.
Yeah, I noticed the corrections.
Oh no, I don't think I corrected all of them.
Problems around Lake Cross. They seem to stop, and then all of a sudden, a load of carts and bodies were found, and a massive undead making way onto roads.
Yeah, so essentially the general sort of problems of traveling along the countryside were still there until what was it? Until a month ago, to when these occasional monster sightings, to which you're aware of. You know, you've run into ogres, owlbears, a dragon quite a few times now, but that one's slightly less common. But you know, the occasional sort of monster sightings, traveling the roads isn't an entirely safe thing. But the occasional monster sighting a month ago dropped to nothing. And although seen as odd, trade increased since there was nothing eating things, and there was no chance of them actually losing their supplies whilst they were traveling. So trade increased, and because the road was generally safer. For a while, it lasted until about 2 weeks. That changed when they then found a trade caravan in tatters with its occupants seemingly ripped apart, or what was left of them. An investigation went, and the hunt was put together to try and follow up on this attack. However, it was quickly dissuaded by a mass of undead finding their way onto the roads. That is why it's now cautioned against travelling to Lake Cross via Axenmouth or Earthstrand. People are taking boats instead.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Kimi informed you that she believes she has figured out where it's coming from. A not so natural cave system. Although being there for quite a while, it now seems to be the source of the undead. And she's giving you the general directions to where it is.
Okay.
I'd
That's
like
good,
to
thank
say that
goodness.
if they've talked about this, Cerno will have gotten up, trade clear at some point, gone downstairs, and started drinking himself drunk.
Oh God.
All right, how many drinks are you having, Sana?
I'm going until I'm drunk as hell.
So what?
Day drinking.
Why don't we make a Constitution saving throw, Sana?
Yay! Let's see how far I get. Okay.
2 drinks, you're out.
Just two? Jesus.
He's small.
Freaking
He's
lightweight.
small, dude.
I know.
He's not out cold. I mean, Sono is now drunk after 2 drinks. A third might put him out cold. You're not entirely sure, but that is 8 copper. To which
8
Stoella
copper.
happily supplies you the alcohol.
Agnes would have
Although
gone
a
down and
bucket-
watched him. Over
A
him.
bucket is also supplied.
Agnes is having 1 drink and probably gets about halfway through by the time he's at this point.
Most likely. Kimi has also joined you down in the bar. It's just sort of perched on a stool. Whilst Boar has been now moved onto an actual bed as he slowly recovers.
Another.
Oh Lord.
Do you think that is wise?
I don't know.
So,
And he puts the drink on
did,
the table. His hand's still up in the air.
did the
puts his
revive
hand
thing
down.
work for y'all?
It seems to.
Cerna, as you do that, Kimi just sort of leans over, grabs a holy symbol, whispers something, and you notice that your glass just fills with water.
Amazing.
He picks it up, looks at it, thinking, what?
I don't remember ordering vodka.
He
Chug,
sniffs it.
Chug, chug, chug.
He sniffs it, shrugs, and drinks.
Well, you've just drunk a glass of water.
And
Yeah.
he slams the
Yeah.
drink back down.
Relax.
That
I
was
wanted to
bleak.
say,
It's
well,
great water.
while he's downing it, Agnes uses causes all the water to just splash him in the face.
As downing this, some of the water splashes you in the face.
My eye. In the eye. Ow. Puts the drink back down. And he's just.
Seven
Learn
has
to control your
decided to
drinking.
run around without her Cerno football as usual.
Was that with the Cerno football?
Without.
Oh.
That would not be good.
Shake, 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 shake.
Blech. You need to learn to control your drinking, Sana.
Hmm?
Nar looks over at them. What drinking problem?
I never said such a thing. Why did it come to cross your mind?
I don't know. Hey Stella, can I get another?
Another 4 copper. Although it should probably be your last.
It is. It is. I'm thinking about hitting the hay already.
I am not responsible for that one.
She takes the 4 copper and pours you another pint.
Crap, no. I have to minus 8 because I accidentally added 4. Shit. There we go.
Alright, so you guys spend the rest of the day just running around and day drinking.
I wanted to go.
Zerno's gonna
buy-
try and down another drink.
Alright, make another constitution saving throw. Stoila also informs
Ooh,
you that this
saving-
is your last drink.
Saving throw. Nah. Nah, okay, it's just a +2.
Natural 20.
Oh. Halfway through the drink, Zerno's head just hits the table.
That a boy.
Agnes? Not Agnes, sorry. Arsene, what were you doing?
I was gonna go see if there was anywhere I could buy treats for Night Eyes from, because I remember I owe him treats, though I do not remember why. The usual occurrence.
Right, well, let's roll an investigation check, shall we?
Oh, I remembered. I kept him cooped up in
Can
a
I
library.
go out with Arsene?
As Nar?
Yeah.
No.
You're
You're
wasted.
right.
You're
drunk. You're
wasted.
staggering all over the place.
Today
That's
is not a
why.
good day.
I'll go with them because I'm also going to go back and check on the books I ordered.
Mm.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't think
so-
Arsene's having a good day. Jesus.
Arsene, you're a bit too preoccupied by the blue dragonborn in chainmail who's just clinking along beside you to really be able to notice anywhere which would sell anything close to what
using
pseudo
my
dragons
axe
may
as a
consider
walking
as
stick.
treats. However, Agnes ends up steering the 3 of you towards a blacksmith who is currently working his forge, and as you approach, he recognizes you and kind of stops what he's doing before kind of giving a small nod and going, I'll go get it for you, miss.
We're good, it's finished.
Yeah.
Shortly later,
What do
he
you
comes
order?
out with
Something
A-
simple.
a small to medium-sized metal box.
I can't. I did pay him right before.
Yes, you did.
Yes. Thank you very much.
A pleasure doing business. Do come back if you need anything else.
Will do indeed. I walk around the corner where there is hardly people and immediately put the TNT or dynamite, whatever it is, in the box.
Dynamite, it's not TNT.
Wait,
Dynamite, yeah.
All right. Well, your dynamite is now within a metal box within a bag of holding.
Nice.
Super safe.
What could possibly go wrong?
And I pick up Night Eyes and I go, if you smell anything that smells good, I will buy it for you as long as it doesn't kill you.
All right, let's roll investigation check as Night Eye, shall we?
But I don't know.
Nice eyes. Just it's like everything. Like everything.
Mm.
Everything smells good.
He doesn't have any bonuses.
Well, with a 19, you are instantly dragged to the nearest what appears to be butcher's, where there's a fine assortment of meats all hanging up. And you notice that Night Eyes is now adamantly pointing nose and tail at a rather large cured ham just hanging there.
Ugh.
Oh.
I wouldn't call that a treat. Or
Mm.
the normal sort of treats.
I
Night
would.
Eyes would.
Welcome to having a pseudo dragon as a friend.
Out of my drunken stupor, I buy him the ham.
I'm buying him that. It's my
No,
treat.
I buy the
I'm
ham.
I would say more treats are bite sized and used for teaching
Fine.
tricks.
I'm buying a ham for myself then.
I mean, you can
no.
chunk the cured ham, but Arsene literally told Night Eyes anything which smelled nice she would buy him, and so he has done the child in the in the shop, going, "I'll get the biggest thing."
How much would it be for me to buy him the entire thing?
To buy this entire ham, it's a pretty decent sized bit of ham. It's, I don't know, probably about your calf in size.
Oh boy.
It will cost you 3 silver.
Hell yeah.
It's fucking cheap.
Oh yeah.
No, it isn't.
To us,
You don't understand how expensive a gold is.
it's very expensive. No, you really have a vague idea.
A gold
don't
would
at the
be
moment 'cause
akin
I
to
don't
about
have a gold.
$300.
I will buy
I'm
him
sure
a-
there's some pork scratchings around here that probably work
Fucking
just as
use it
well.
lightly.
No.
They're the luxury treats.
No.
Agnes comments as Arsene is now just cradling this. Oh, my roll 20 just apparently I'm all on my own now.
Yep.
Oh well.
Yes, same. Look, there's everyone.
It's
Anyway.
come back.
Agnes makes this comment as Arsene is now just cradling this large cured ham, to which Night Eyes is now just taking bites out of it. And Arsene, you're
I
getting a very strong sense of satisfaction.
I suppose that's going to have to go in the bag of holding.
No, he'll eat what he can.
Meow.
Yeah, it's
Meow.
3 times as big as him. I don't think he's
Nom.
going to be able to eat the whole thing.
Meow.
You'd be surprised.
I can help.
Meow. Meow.
Stop! Hey, stop!
Is that thing
You're
big
making
as
me
simple?
hungry.
Otherwise, there's no point eating it if you're gonna throw up.
Yeah. And just sort of huffs and looks in the opposite direction. And you just sort of notice, even though looking in the opposite direction, his head is slowly getting closer to the ham.
Ah.
Fine,
I
go for it.
love
It's your own
Night
fault you throw up.
Still not looking at it. Just mouth sort of opens and side bites a bit. Yeah.
God,
Still
love
looking
like
away.
I don't feed you.
Just turns, looks at you, and you just get the biggest puppy dog eyes ever from this small pseudo dragon.
He just, yeah, fine. Eat what you want.
It's that, or it's like you send him in to die every now and then.
One time. Alright.
Did you guys just leave Cerno
Next
just drunk on the table?
Yeah, he's face first on the bar.
I didn't think I was gonna be leaving you by yourself.
And I'm
Okay.
having a
Saving girl's there.
adventure with
Oh no,
him.
Saving went on a run.
Girl's gone for a run.
She's on a run. She's exploring the town for like
Kimmy's there.
any kind of interesting places to go look at.
Yeah, the
Kimmy's
only one
there,
who-
and
the
if
only
she's
one who's
ever
there is
anything like
Kimi.
Saving Girl, we'll just come back and he'll be all dressed up. That's like the worst thing that could happen.
Kiwi's still there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Sam, go roll an investigation check.
Ooh, what's she for?
With a 15, you run past several bars and taverns, but one catches your eye near the north gate. it's got a door, which is about 8 to 10 feet in size. The building itself seems to be just a slightly upscaled version of the other buildings surrounding it, and it looks tad peculiar. The name hanging above the door is the Material Outlands.
What kind of people are walking in and out of this place?
There's one or two sort of. They're not scruffy, but I wouldn't quite call them high end. The northern side of Mapletide, especially near the North Gate, is sort of the more richer, the sort of more richer district. There are a few more houses with actual like fences around a garden of things. But this tavern itself is actually quite close to the North Gate. There's a few small other sort of shops dotted around it. The people walking in seem to be of medium, you'd probably say medium class, getting by quite happily. Although you do notice quite a few of them sort of struggle to push open the door every now.
Seven Gold takes an opportunity when one person opens the door, she sneaks in behind him.
Well, although she doesn't particularly need to sneak in, she kind of slinks in behind a couple, relatively well-dressed, sort of, I wouldn't say party attire, but, somewhat nice attire, and they go and sit down. The furniture in here is of average size, perhaps on the slightly taller end. Glancing around, you do notice that the bar, however, has substantially higher seats than what you recall most bars having, as the bar itself is also, well, you feel this is probably what Sano feels like when he walks into a normal sized tavern with the bar. Behind it is stood, well, a giant of a man. He is pretty tall, and even with this about 10 foot or so ceiling, his wispy sort of white hair, which is almost just floating around, seems to keep on catching on bits of the wood. He has a grayish skin with hints of blue. Very muscular, is wearing a shirt with the sleeves rolled up and also a waistcoat, but they seem to be a tad too small for him and straining slightly with his movement. And along both of his arms, there is a series of bright white lines, which you quickly gather are scars. He is currently serving a couple of people.
Can I just make a note?
Mm.
He gave a better description then than he did for me to draw him.
Record it, use that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know.
The timestamp for you, I'll remember it.
But yes, he's sort of serving people. The people who you followed in go and sit down at a table, and he catches a notice of you and goes, "Well, you're an interesting sight to see."
Meow.
Samago goes right up to him and was like, "Hi, yes I am, and so are you."
Oh
This
my
is
God,
true.
I love this cat.
What can I do for you, miss?
I'm just going around looking for interesting places, listening for stories.
Stories. I've got quite a few.
Ooh.
I didn't get these scars from just working at a tavern, you know.
I mean, you sure it wasn't from all those times carrying giant barrels of alcohol? They can get quite splintery.
They can be splintery, but they don't leave gashes.
Ooh, how'd those happen?
Numerous ways, different jobs led to different things. I mean, if you want, you can have a drink here and I will share a story or two.
Sure. How much?
What strength are you looking for?
Probably mild, because I still want to remember these so I can tell tales.
Very good choice. And with that, he sort of sidesteps, picks up a tankard, which looks tiny in his hand. We're seeing Cerno hold a tankard. The tankard looks massive. This is just the other way round. And the The I don't want to say nozzle. The tap for pouring the drink is actually sized proportionately to him, so he doesn't break it. But it does look a tad ridiculous, him sort of holding this small tankard below it. To which, after pouring one, he then sets it down in front of you, going 4 copper.
All right, and she hands him over the 4 copper.
To which he gladly takes. Well, which scar do you want to hear about?
How about the one on your right elbow?
Right elbow. Let's see if I remember that one. And he sort of looks. He has to pick up his own elbow, twist his own arm, and glance at it. And it's a sort of almost star-like sort of scar where it appears to be kind of slashed, and the skin was probably torn. He just kind of looks and goes, "Ah, yeah, that one. Well, I was tasked on a job to retrieve a certain creature, or, well, a shell of a certain creature from the elemental planes. A flail snail. Giant beast, about the size of a horse. Shells glitter and change all sorts of colours. You don't want to cast magic at them. And as he's sort of telling this, a few people, you hear sort of few people going, "Oh, not this one again," as you assume they're probably regular patrons, whereas a few others sort of sit up sort of straighter or kind of lean in, and some of the hubbub dies down. And he goes on to explain about how he was essentially tracking these group of flail snails, as they are called. They have sort of 5 tentacles with essentially flails on the end, and he was essentially tracking a group down. He wasn't trying to kill them. He was just trying to get one of their tentacles, which they can survive without some of them. However, it apparently didn't go quite according to plan, having accidentally stumbled into a group of them, which is a rare thing indeed, and having to essentially avoid getting beaten to death by slow-moving giant snails with flails, and that was one of the scars to which he got by several of these flails happening to unfortunately hit him in the same arm.
Ooh. So how many of those tentacles did you end up getting by the end of that?
Well, I only took what was needed. Unfortunately, one of them got damaged, so I ended up taking 2. But you don't really want to take too many off the poor creatures, otherwise they make this awful noise for about 20 minutes before they end up finally dying.
Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of like what happened with us. Like when we went to go get basilisk library glands, we tried to get some, but then other ones came in and came to attack.
Yeah, it's almost like creatures don't like you taking parts of them. It's weird, isn't it?
I know it'd be convenient if it's like fruit. Okay, we can grow more.
Unfortunately, it is not, although I believe there are some spells capable of doing such feats. Not that I know any myself.
Oh, can Savangul determine what class he is from his story that he told?
Roll an intelligence check. It wasn't the 15, so come on. There we go. It was a 13 instead. 2 13s rolled. So he does make mention of using weapons, so you rule out the class of you rule out essentially sorcerer and wizard because he mentions using a sword. You rule out the class of cleric and paladin, considering the fact that he makes mentions of not really having healing magic, and you do know from your sister healing magic can be used to remove wounds. As for that, you're a bit tied. He makes mention of using magic, so you assume he could perhaps be a ranger, maybe a bard. He doesn't appear to be wearing any armor, but the wounds would indicate light armor. Perhaps a warlock? It's hard to say.
Oh, right. I forgot to catch your name. My name is Savangul.
And mine is Odnathus.
Nice to meet you, Ognathus.
And yourself. Will I see you again?
Sure, I'll come back for more stories.
Most certainly.
And
And
with
with
that, Sapling Girl gives him a pat on the head and then leaves.
She would struggle to give him a pat on the head. He
Then
stands
she
at about
Down
10
a
feet.
second.
10
He
feet!
takes a
Holy
jump.
crap!
She jumps up and stands on the table and then pats him.
He sort of gives you a look as you stand on his bar and sort of shoos you away and off of it before continuing to serve people.
See you soon.
Sort of just lifts a giant hand and sort of waves. Yeah, he is a half giant. He is way taller than your average person.
Shit.
So not a Goliath as I was thinking originally.
That's what I was
No.
thinking too, is a fucking Goliath.
I want
No.
to talk to him more.
That
This guy is a half giant. He stands at about 10 feet. Considering that one of his parents would have been around 16, he
What?
is
Ooh.
tall and has problems with doorways, as the other group found out.
yes. But sure.
Cerno would be so small. He will need a high chair with a high chair in it.
Oh my
So-
god.
Sono would look like a baby in his hands.
He looks like a toddler in others.
I mean, actually, I guess he would look more like a sort of puppy in the hand. You know how small sort of those can be.
Oh god.
Like, yeah, he is giant.
Whew.
All right. So that is Savangal's little adventure.
We should get drunk now back to the inn.
I would say
I'm
you are able to navigate him back to the inn.
French fries.
Maybe with the lure of some of the lure of some of Night Eyes' cured ham, but you guys do end up making it back. Night
Is Sano
Eyes.
still past that?
Make a Constitution check for me, Sana. And Night Eyes has probably eaten about a quarter of this ham by this point,
Oh,
and is now kind of just lying on Arsene's shoulder, sort of expression of "I shouldn't have done that."
I didn't listen to Mum. I didn't listen to Mum. I regret everything.
Totally. I
Oh, no,
regret
I'm
everything, but it
I'm
was
sick,
so
like-
good.
It was worth it, but it was so wasn't at the same time.
More like
I love Night
siblings
Eyes.
than
So goddamn
parent
much.
and child. Yeah.
As for Cerno, he is still sort of just on the desk, a little bit of spot of drool. When as you walk in, you just see Strela sort of lift his head, just wipe the bar, and put his head back down on it.
Agnes goes straight over and picks him up and takes him to his room.
All right. I'm pretty sure I corrected your spelling of Odnathus in your notes, by the way.
Yeah, that's what you corrected it to.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, Lord, what have we done?
That is not the correct spelling of the guy's name.
But then you uncorrected it, 'cause that's why I've been copying it as that spelling. Because I know I wrote it completely wrong the first time. And that's what it got corrected to. Hey, where is it? Where is his name? Where are you, Odnathus?
I literally put it in
Mm.
comments chat. Anyway,
You have to correct all of it
You
now.
know what?
and so I would assume the day comes to an end and a new day dawns. I think at this,
Bagpipe alarm clock.
No. Fuck.
Alright. and this boar awakens with a start, semi-aware of what's happened. And by that I mean aware that he's died and now has no real idea why he is in a room with some weirdly positioned furniture
Mm.
in an inn he recalls being in a couple of days ago. not having fully understood the passage of time either, but has a feeling
What the fuck?
that there may be one or two things he needs to atone for at some point.
I have so many questions. And Boy gets up and walks downstairs.
Is even capable of making it down the stairs since he's
Can't Boy
exhausted.
even? You know what? No. If Boy cannot stand, he's going to crawl.
He's
no.
able to stand, but he feels, I wouldn't say drunk, but quite painful. His muscles have not been used in quite a while and were effectively deprived of oxygen. Although his body did not start decay, it wasn't exactly like in the amazing state. After all, it was battered around in a trunk whilst traveling, so he's a bit bruised. It feels like he ran a marathon the previous day.
Also missing his stuff.
Yes, apart from his
Wait.
bare clothes.
Where's
His
my
coin
axe?
is missing.
That should have all been in the trunk with
Yes.
No,
You
not
got
his
enough
coin.
fucking axe.
His clothes.
no, not his coin,
His
but
clothes
his equipment.
and most of his standard equipment is there. The potions, money, and did Sano take
I
a
can tell you
handout?
exactly what I took off him. I took the money, the rations, and the water skin.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember what Sano took.
Oh,
Sono took his book on the Stormlord, and it was one dart.
Ah, yeah, it was a dart, wasn't it? I remember he took one. For
Well, I
Boar's
think I took
weapons.
all of the darts, but I separated one from the rest.
Yes, so Boar's darts are also missing. But other than that, most of your stuff is just in a pile in the middle of the floor.
Well, I
And
grab
there
my
is
hand
a
axe.
somewhat familiar trunk at the other end of the room.
I look for the skull in the trunk. Is it there?
no.
Oh.
Fuck. Well, I gather up what I do have, and I walk downstairs.
All right.
Do I
The
need
axe
to
must be
switch
down there.
around the player profile things now?
No, because Nara's still here as well.
Uh-huh.
Going to have the joy of
Which-
new characters.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have some fucking fun with this shit.
Oh no.
So at the bottom, as Bor makes his way downstairs, there is, I would assume, Agnes is already down there. Savangal is
Mhm.
now down there. So is Kimi.
Oh, it's down there.
No, I guess, yeah, he didn't drink too heavily, so he probably has managed to stumble his way down.
Uh-huh.
Has Sono managed to make his way downstairs?
Nope.
Sono is not there. So Bor now sees a blue dragonborn in chainmail. The regular of Agnes, is Arsenine down there as well?
Yes. Feeding
Ars-
Night Eyes more cam.
Arsene and Night Eyes, who is cautiously eating from this large ham, and the innkeep Stoella,
No.
and two cats.
Two cats?
Two cats.
Savangal is excitedly telling them about Ognath or
Odnathus.
Ognathus and about
Od.
Odnathus, and she's telling exactly how basically everyone feels like they should are Cerno sites in his bar, and it is amazing. And Cerno should totally go there to see how see him because of all the scars, and that everything is even bigger than normal.
Well, at this point, if I haven't been noticed, I'm gonna pull a seat next to the Dragonborn, and I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna lean over and look directly at Agnes, and you buying my food, right?
No, but you can out of your own pocket. And she hands him back a
Hello?
pouch of money.
I pay for some food.
He
Exactly how
gets
much?
back I'll message you how much you get back.
All right. Well, as you go to pay, Estella comes over and goes, "Oh no, it's included in her
Hey,
room,
better
dear."
message me with money.
As she gestures over to the second of the two cats, who is apparently eating what appears to be very different food compared to everyone else.
Oh God, I missed you, buddy.
That
Well,
being several different types of fish, to which I assume she may be sharing with Savangao.
Oh, I have all my
Kimmy.
money.
you don't have all of it.
I know.
I can't remember how much.
How much you've spent?
No.
No.
I mean, a fair bit was spent in the whole, bringing you back, but
Mm-hmm.
I know. No, I was gonna look over it more. Well, I guess you're a boy then. Well, I guess you're a boy.
You're
There you
gonna
go, you got
struggle.
the
Why are you
voice.
doing this?
Because he just
Oh.
wants to test himself.
Mm-hmm.
I do it half the time when I decide to do voice acting.
well, I see he's up and walking about.
Great.
Something.
Kimi says as she sort of walks over and is now sort of just poking around at Boar.
Glad to
Doesn't
see you
seem to suffer
moving.
too much
No.
muscle fatigue. To which Struella sort of goes, "Could you do the examination away from the bar?"
No, don't hurt me.
Didn't you say you needed to talk to him anyway?
Oh yeah. We need to have a talk, Mr. Furry.
Is it?
Which is incredibly ironic coming from a cat.
I was
Mhm.
about to say.
God.
Fucking
Was
amazing.
officially a furry.
And what is my copper count to? Fucking 5?
That's all you had in the first place, so don't complain.
I had more than that.
No, you had. Okay, no, you did.
Yeah. I had
No,
1,000.
but she's the equivalent.
Did you take my flippin'
Look, she likes
electrum?
coppers and she likes to hoard them, alright?
Do you want to
Mhm.
carry 1,000 copper?
I already was
You
carrying
need to go
1,000
to a
copper.
bank.
I know I do. Shush.
Give me my fucking copper back.
Do you want 1,000 copper or
Yes, give me
The
We
gold-
can
1,000
sort
copper.
this out later.
Alright, do I still have my electrum is the only question I'm asking. Or did you transfer all that?
transferred?
Fucking god damn it.
Electrum's cool though.
I've given you the money that you had originally transferred into gold, silver, and copper because it was a lot easier to figure out. Minus 200.
Although if I specifically give certain coins, I would prefer for you to now keep those. Simply because it makes it interesting if you find a dragon's hoard of 10,000 copper coins. I want to see what you guys try and do with them.
Oh no, Agnes still has all the copper. She's just found it so much.
Holding it.
Thought it'd be easier because she has the bag of holding.
Yeah. No, I was just meaning in general.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm gonna. Oh shit! I'm switching to southern. I don't remember darks.
Who are you speaking as?
I'm trying to speak as boy, but I've been stuck in this fucking southern accent. I'm trying to remember. Boy's just the deep voice. That's what boy is. There we go.
Or
He seems to be having an identity crisis, sister. Might want to keep an eye on him.
Shut the fuck up. I go and I guess I talk to Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Kiwi is what I've been hearing. Kiwi is
Kimi.
what
Kimi.
Kimi.
Yeah, Kimi. Gotcha.
Well, as you go to sort of go and talk, she kind of raises a paw and quickly picks one more fish and sort of just shoves it down, swallows, and goes, "A talk it is. I shall also make sure that you're fully functioning." Don't
Oh,
want you
that-
going on the road and finding that your leg doesn't work or something. Come on, chop chop. And with that, she sort of pokes you in the back.
We'll explain
Absolutely.
everything afterwards, but
You fucking better. And I walk off.
All right, so she directs you
Yeah.
back to your room where she gives you a quick sort of somewhat basic sort of medical exam. You know, make sure that your eyes are working properly, your arms bend and everything. You feel I don't want to say pain, but you know, you feel her prodding around on your legs and arms and chest and
Sure,
everything like
no,
that.
don't.
Sort of tapping with her claw, just making sure everything's in working order. To which, once she's done, she sort of then sits down. And by sitting down, I mean sort of resting back paws on the chair and then her front paws on the front of the chair and sort of crouching and just sort of locks eyes with Boar as he sits up.
Who are you, by the way?
Oh, of course. I am Savangel's sister. Do you not see the
Oh.
family resemblance?
I mean, now I do, but I didn't know she had a sister. She's kept quiet lately.
She has several siblings. I am just one. But anyway, we're here to talk about you.
I guess you're the one who did the revivify spell.
Revivify. Oh no.
I don't know spells.
You, sir, have been dead for, I think it's around 15 days?
Oh.
You have your
Oh.
friends to thank for bringing you to me, or bringing me to you. Kind of one and the other. I came here, they came here, we met, retrieving a certain object, in aiding in bringing you back. There are a few things which they agreed to
Alright.
do
You
so.
want to lay it on me?
Well, now you guys do owe me one small favor in the form of going in,
That's fine.
investigating, and sorting out a certain problem in the name of my deity.
Oh.
But you owe a little bit more.
Okay.
Not only to yourself, but perhaps maybe not my deity, but your own. And with that, she sort of back paws kind of go and land on the floor as she stands up. I assume you have some form of worship. And I would suggest you reflect upon why what happened happened. You may find that you feel slightly differently about some things. That is totally normal with the spell. They can't bring your entirety back. A little bit of you is now forever
Dead.
lost.
Yeah.
And the more you do, and the more we do this, the more will be lost, and the harder it will be for your soul to return.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll try not to get my ass handed to me by a giant ever again.
I think you need to do a bit more reflection.
I will.
And I would also maybe suggest going to your own god. They may have some answers, or they may be able to help, or they may just, want to say hello. Anyway, aside from that, I think we're all done here.
Well, thank you so much, Kimi.
Just bear this in mind. I don't
will.
particularly want to be having to do this again.
I understand. I can't do deep voice. That hurts.
It's fine.
Boy's
that-
going to be normal. Now it's going to be southern. Yep.
Well, that she sort of jumps up, walks over, ruffles the fur on your head before just walking out the door.
Oh, okay.
Before sort of
there's a
turning-
family.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I'm just sitting there to myself.
That's where family resemblances.
Pretty much.
She sort of bounds down the stairs, to which you guys see. She kind of bounds over to Savangal, licks her behind the ears, before sort of looking around going, well, I've had my talk. Shall I see you guys in Lake Cross?
Sure. Thank you.
Hmm.
I'm going to make my way there by boat.
Boat. Yep.
Well, have fun. I guess this is where I divvy off unless y'all want me to stick around.
Don't make me have to edit the character profiles to fit 2 in. Please don't.
Weep, 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 weep. Just one flashing up and another. Don't worry, if Ninja had 2 characters, it'd be twice as easy to kill them. I mean, what?
I know.
Fine. Make it sound like it's hard.
I know, right?
You did seem as though you had.
Difficult.
You did seem as though you had plans to leave.
Yeah, you do what you need to do.
I did, but
I mean,
yeah, I think
Most
it's
you
time
guys-
for us
Continue.
to go. Nope, you go.
Nope. I thought you'd
Ladies
stop
first.
talking.
Nope, I did. I just did. I'll finish my sentence. Ladies first, remember.
Alright, well, whilst you guys are having that conversation, Kimi does sort of semi-wrap her tail around Savangal's, kisses her on what is essentially the forehead and says, I'll send you a message if I don't see you for a couple of days.
All right. And Samagoto's like gives the kitty head rub.
She scratches behind the ear before essentially just bounding out the door.
my heart. That was
I'm assuming you
adorable.
know where to find her again, Savangirl.
Have
Yeah.
send instructions. She's essentially told you guys to make your way to Lake Cross.
Yeah, but like it's like saying, just come to my house and not giving the address.
This is true.
Good.
I've had that before. It's annoying.
Well,
I mean,
do y'all
real.
think you can do this? I
Guess
don't
we'll
know.
see. But thank you,
Well,
for
if
all your
y'all
help.
need, I'll probably be staying in. I'll probably stay in. What are the local towns around here? I'll look for something.
There's we're in Mapletide. There's Neverwinter further south.
That's a big city.
There's a big one. East of that's Vandalen. That's quite a quiet place. Lots of
Okay.
mining.
Well,
Oh.
if y'all ever need me, go. I'll try to find where Fendalen is. I'll stop by Neverwinter. Y'all said,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and I'll see about looking for Fendalen. And I'll lay there for a while, get some side jobs, save up for boat riding, and be gone.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a boat ride, I would suggest going from Neverwinter. They've got quite a few boats coming and going.
Neverwinter. Alright.
Though
Going from-
Vandalen is a place that you can definitely find work. So,
I wouldn't know too much about that myself, but
Mm.
Neverwinter will have boats going further south along the north coast, along the Sword Coast.
Cause I'm heading south.
I guessed.
if you do go south, some things are better kept to yourself.
Yep.
Good luck. Good luck to you.
With that, he takes one final drink of whatever alcohol. He
Oh,
just
it's just ale.
yeah, it's just ale. How much for?
Or copper.
Or copper, yeah. He downs the rest of his morning ale, and he cash, and he will sit and cast disguise self to turn into that southern man and then walk off.
Some leave. Bye.
Off into what would be the sunset, apart from it's now mid-morning.
And
Pretty
the
much.
sunlight coming through the tavern door.
No, Rebel's gonna boink here in a second. No, don't. Rebel, don't boink.
Mm.
So do I switch
No.
to the other character profile now?
I would
Yeah,
assume so.
'cause
Alright.
Mars gone. How do
I wanna see some
make
real
the
time.
campaign?
Watch.
We've got Ball back.
Indeed, you do.
Yay.
Boar is currently at half hit points,
Oh,
and his constitution is currently reduced by 2.
Is what's reduced by 2?
His constitution is currently reduced by 2.
Awesome. It's fucking amazing.
It was reduced by
That means
4.
I'm at -1.
Hmm?
Totally would, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
No,
Odd.
it started at a reduction by 4, but you slept for pretty much the entire day, so that was a recovery of 2 of your constitution. Another night's sleep, and you'll be back to normal.
Awesome.
Sorry, another 2
Well-
nights sleep, and you'll be back to normal. And if you essentially rest for the entire day doing nothing, that'll count as resting enough to be able to regain one of your constitution hit point, one of your constitutions back.
Oh, damn it. I was gonna have Narin boy spy, but screw it.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
withdrawn.
Boar is not feeling good. Seriously, he's just come back from the grave.
I know.
This isn't like the edge of death. This is having passed on to the other life and being dragged and forced back to into a body which isn't entirely pleased about being brought back to life, but we'll cooperate.
Wait, has Cerno seen boy right now?
Nah, he's still in bed. He
No,
hasn't. He
he's
hasn't.
not seen him up,
woken
moving
up.
and walking.
When you
Mm.
described how Boar felt getting up and going downstairs, I was just like, hi, I feel. I know that
So-
feeling.
So
I'm gonna
fun.
walk downstairs as quickly as I can. I'm gonna look at the Dragonborn lady. Silith, which one is Cerno staying in? Or the little one?
You best ask one of your friends to actually you the rooms.
I can show you.
I look right at Agnes. Which one?
Third on the right.
Okay.
It's not third on the right.
I go back
Mhm.
upstairs.
He's not in the
Close
third on the
the
right.
door. I open the second one to the right.
Well, as you go to open the second to the right door, it appears to be locked from the inside.
Fuck.
Not
you
Do
hear
sure.
it to me.
Yes.
Sorry.
Is that housekeeping?
No.
Then what are you doing trying to get into my room?
I was told wrong by a friend.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go away now.
I go walk
Kind of
off.
weird.
I fucking walk back downstairs and I just stare daggers at fucking Agnes.
As you're walking downstairs, you just hear, "You gone yet?"
No! You old bastard. Just walk downstairs.
Welcome back, Boar.
No, which room is it?
I give him the right room.
Okay. I slam open the door.
Third on the left.
Clicking.
Third on the left. He's still asleep?
He appears to be.
Could have just fucking hug already.
I'm just gonna fall asleep on top of him, say screw it.
If
God.
So do you just
So-
flop?
Death. Yeah.
Cerno, you've just been hit by a sack of bricks.
Ah!
Also hurts. And
Oh!
breathing is now difficult.
Ow!
I roll off.
Ah!
Buddy.
Hey,
Oh.
Point to note, that wasn't exactly comfortable for Boar either.
No, it was painful.
oh,
I shouldn't have done that.
why are you like
hi, buddy.
this?
Because I missed you.
Ah. Oh, yeah.
It's
Jeez.
morning. Okay. And I give him a big ol' hug and I go back to sleep.
Okay.
so, Cerno is now a teddy bear.
Oh.
Yes, Odd, yes.
What did Odd say?
Time to revive.
Yep.
Quest revives, and it begins.
He just starts patting the big mass of fur that is Boar and thinks.
Yep. Yep.
I suppose no one should tell Boar this is the same town that apparently a Todd follower is in, right?
I would have thought he would have made the connection.
No, he's made the connection. At this point, he just still doesn't care. He's back.
He hasn't
You're
exactly
down
thought
to-
about. He hasn't exactly thought about it. It's not exactly the thing on his mind. Bearing in
No.
mind, the last thing he does recall is essentially getting clobbered to death by a giant.
Mm.
Just a giant fist.
His mind is essentially a bit of a mess. Oh my god! Essentially, coming back from death is essentially what Jam has to deal with on her worst days.
Oof.
No.
Ouch. Too real, man.
I mean, it's true. Essentially, pain, difficulty moving, pretty much being tired the entire time, and fog of the mind. It's
Brain fog, yeah.
it's a difficult thing coming back from the dead, and it's a difficult thing being Jam.
I'm gonna
Hey, I'm
lay
called a
there-
ghost for a reason.
I'm gonna just lay there thinking about what all Kimmy told me.
All right. Well, I assume that Boar and Cerno are essentially snuggling in the bed for the vast majority of the day.
So knows the big spoon.
No, Odd. No.
Way ahead of you, Odd.
No. No.
Which worse is I don't know what he's saying.
Just says shit.
And as for the other three, Agnes, Arcene,
I want to
and
find a bank.
Savangal. Agnes would like to find a bank. I was actually going to say, you guys now have to. How you're getting to Lake Cross?
Agnes is avoiding that topic of conversation.
Right.
So,
Well, as the topic starts to come up, Agnes abruptly stands up and loudly declares she has a bank to find.
Oh, and after
Going
we
to
go
the
together,
bank.
we go visit not this, so that way we can get more stores, and you can see how big the place is.
Right.
Sure.
Oh,
I'd be very happy to do that.
sure. It sounds cool. Interesting.
All right. Agnes, I would say, given enough time, you are able to find a you are able to find a bank. I assume you're exchanging coins.
Yes.
They have maximum of about 20 platinum, but ignoring Electrum, they have plenty of all other coins. They don't stock much platinum. It's not something which sees too much trade.
Can I exchange? Do you want me to message you? Or
Yeah,
Just
send
say it.
me. Yeah, send me.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
say out loud how much money you have. Don't
Nope,
tell the rest of the
'cause
party
she
how much
wouldn't.
you've actually
Yeah, yeah.
hoarded.
No,
say the
she
money
wouldn't.
out
No,
loud.
no, not happening.
This is what I'm gonna do when I'm down at the UK. I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of Agnes Seed and money. That's the only thing I'm gonna look at. I don't give a shit about the background. I just want to see how much she's been hoarding from the group.
Thing is, she doesn't actually have that much money. It's just all in coppers.
How many copper?
She's got like over 1,000 copper.
Yeah, she's exchanging 1,000 copper. I'll say that much.
No, it's fine. 1,000 of it you stole from fucking Boar.
I cannot wait until we get to a place where we are presented with a dragon's horn and Agnes starts rage looting.
Oh my god.
Rage loot. She'll just be creating like her hand to just scoop it into the bag of holding.
Yeah.
All right.
Squishy,
Is there anything particularly you want that converted into, or just general conversions?
Gold, I guess.
All right.
'Cause
Let's
she
see.
has no gold.
Hang on. Let me grab. Okay,
I've just realised she actually has no gold coin.
Oh
Did
no.
I leave the converter in here?
I'm trying to fit.
Move, I was going to say, note to self: move the converter into that sheet. That is a useful sheet.
It's
to have
kind
the
of
converter in.
easy.
Yeah, you can convert it.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
can do it in my
I was gonna say
head.
if you're converting it all to gold, yeah, I know, but I like you're converting it all to gold. Well, that's 210.
210 gold. Hold
Shut up.
on. No, I'm doing my fucking own math. Hold on.
And that's a
probably gonna
lot of
fail.
coppers.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Well, I told them 1,000 copper.
Shit, it's not telling me what goes into what. Fucking god damn it. Yes, it is.
It's a really simple system. I think
Ten
it can fall under the
copper.
classification of metric since it's 10, 10, 10. 10, ignoring electrum.
No, it's
because they're
10,
weird.
5, 10, 10.
What? No. 10 coppers make a silver. 10 silvers make a gold. 10 gold make a platinum. 5 silvers make an electrum. That's the only one where it doesn't follow.
Where the hell is my phone's
Do you
not-
guys just want me to tell you? She
No.
exchanged 1,000 copper and 2,000 silver.
Whew!
and 2,000 silver.
You're hecking loaded.
Right?
Not
Woo.
really.
That-
She says.
She's- To be fair, Agnes is what she sees as rich. This is not rich.
No,
I
you
mean,
come
you,
from a
all of
spoiled
you are
background.
pretty rich.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
What Agnes is used to seeing as the top guy is
So
not
wait,
rich.
Do I need to take away the 50 electrum? I don't.
Empty all your money and just add what I messaged you.
Fine.
It'll be easier.
Fucking electrum. Why is it not? God damn it.
Where's Night Tellers and Arsene? Because I want to see if I'm able to beam a thought into Nine Eyes' head.
Arsene came out with us.
I
Uh,
Wait.
think they're all just
I was
downstairs.
with.
We went to the bank and then we were going to go see.
Ognathus.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, if that's what
Alright.
we were doing, then yes.
So they are nowhere around. Unfortunately for you.
I think halfway through Boar's nap, Boar's is gonna be like, okay. On board.
All right.
Maybe we go for a little walk.
Okay, so Bor and Sano, you guys hang out in bed for a while. Samgal,
Don't fucking say it like that.
Arsene, and Agnes make your way to the Material Outlands.
With the cat. Because the cat knows where we're going.
I did say
Cool.
Samgal first.
Oh. I didn't hear.
I know. So you make it to the Material Outlands. You enter, and you are greeted by the same half giant of a man.
Hi, Ognathus. I brought friends.
Speaking of, his skin color is like a bluish grey. It's a dark bluish grey rather than the Goliath sort of light grey. Just
Okay,
letting
that's
you know.
another note that's different on the
Yeah.
description.
Look, literally, just take a cloud giant and look at it.
That makes my drawing a lot easier. I'll go to Google Images and send you.
Anyway, I mean, he's not a full cloud giant, but anyway. So
I'll make him short in Photoshop.
thanks. Yeah, like a. God's sake.
Boar is now
Do what you
fucking
wish,
terrified
woman.
of
Do what you
giants.
wish. So the half giant of a man sort of waves and goes, "I see that you did. Greetings. Welcome to the Material Outland."
Wow. Hello. Rather curious place you have here. That's impressive.
And you guys are rather curious yourselves. Take a seat.
Some have said that, yes.
Kind of gestures to several seats at the bar and goes, "What can I get you?"
Do you have anything interesting?
And by interesting, you mean
Different than normal ale?
that we do. Do you think you can handle it?
Try me.
Fighting
Hmm,
words.
very well. And for everyone else?
Do you
Same as last time, please.
Certainly, a regular ale. And miss?
do you do tea though? Or water? Anything non-alcoholic?
Yes, I believe I can conjure tea.
Really?
Yes. I have some tea somewhere. I believe I have a teapot which isn't broken either. I shall go get you your drinks.
Thank you.
4 copper for the ale, 3 copper for the tea, and 2 silver for the special.
Mm. Mm.
And with that, he pours a standard mug of ale and passes it to Savingal. Goes out back into the kitchen and comes out with what looks like a child's tea set in his hand before he delicately places it down in front of our scene, and it suddenly looks properly proportioned. And as for Agnes, he very carefully pulls out a shot glass, which is a very amusing thing for him to see him trying to hold. To which is placed down in front of her, to which he then gets a bottle which seems a little bit more size proportionate to him, to which he sort of just pops the cork out. It's sort of half in there, the bottle's half empty. He sort of pops the cork out with his thumb and pours a very small amount into the glass before putting the cork back in. It's a sort of bluish in color, and it seems to slowly move on its own and sort of roll into darker patches and then sort of spread out into light. And the colors just constantly shifting through different states of blue-ish gray.
Thank you. Looks very interesting.
I'm sure you'll enjoy, if you remember it.
Some things are best forgotten, and she downs it.
Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
I'm sure we'll enjoy watching it.
Saving throw. Oh, it's another 3-1.
Agnes is now drunk.
Whoa.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Even with the
Actually, not
21.
unconscious.
Oof.
I
She
thought
just-
it was this. I thought it was the same one you gave to Monday. Look.
Yep.
It is.
She
That's
just
why
drank
you're
an
only drunk.
alcohol which is specifically brewed and distilled to get cloud giants, one of the hardiest constitution creatures you can find, tipsy. Not only is their size immensely larger than you guys, they have substantially stronger constitutions.
Holy
If they rolled low enough, you would have been flat
What
out.
is, I'm curious, what is the DC for this?
Well, Agnes is currently tipsy. About anything below
Okay.
19 is, between about 12 and 19, you're drunk, and below 12, you're just flat out asleep.
Cerno
So
would
she's
be
tipsy,
dead.
not drunk. Okay.
Yeah, she's quite tipsy. Yeah, so essentially above 19, you're just tipsy. Like, very tipsy, but...
Cerno would be so dead. He's a lightweight.
I know,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
God, he'd be
I mean, I think for
dead.
Sarno, no matter what he rolls, he's just face first.
Oh,
That's a natural one. Oh, no.
So, what else can I do for you?
Savingal said you tell stories. It'd be really cool.
Indeed, I do. I've got a few stories from my travels. What do you want to know about?
Anything about, like, ancient ruins or something? Those are always the coolest.
Ancient ruins. You know, there's a few interesting ones on. There's a few interesting ones on some of the outer planes, actually.
Really?
Yeah, not that you want to get caught in some.
Yeah. That's true.
In fact, the Astral Sea itself has a few ruins floating in it, along with. Well, some call them dead gods, but they are seemingly larger people than myself, fully turned to stone.
That sounds pretty cool. Levels
Have
high.
you ever been to the Shadowfell?
Hey, that's not too far of a trip.
Do you know how to get there?
Right.
There are multiple ways. I mean, there's plenty of strong magics which are capable of shifting realms for you. If you're not quite at that, I believe you can find one or two individuals. I believe there's a fellow who works the docks who ferries between realms. Expensive, though.
Oh, why'd you tell them that?
Which
Ah.
the Mapletide?
Yes, I believe he goes by the name of Argenfell. Although, as I said, he
Argenfell.
charges a pretty price, and you do actually need to know where you're
Do you know anywhere in Shadowfell then?
nowhere next to a river.
Hmm.
They're surprisingly hard to find in a land of nothing but sharp stone and shadows. However, I'm sure you could find one or two. The probably easiest and, well, I say easiest, probably the cheapest of ways, and definitely not the easiest, would be to find one of the many portals which link the realms. Have you noticed the pillars dotting some of these landscapes?
Yes.
Yes. Well, those act as more akin to windows to the planes. They help to strengthen the boundaries between them. Some say they were put in place by a god. Others say they're just a natural occurrence. Some argue that is the same thing. However, they're well protected. Messing with them generally ills bad omens. But where there are windows, there can also be doors. You may find some places have stronger connections to these other planes on the inner realm. You would be looking for, say, going to the Feywild, you'd look for a place of natural beauty. You may find a sprig or two guarding it, and there may be certain circumstances for the opening of them, but there may be a portal.
It's not important. Shadowfell, where would there be one for that?
I was just providing an example.
Thank you, Alvin.
As for the Shadowfell, you would look for naturally places which draw closer to it than normal in this realm. So perhaps that ominous cave with darkness seeping out, screams and cries of horror coming from inside, creatures of imaginable horror who cling to the shadows, trying to eat your face as you go down, that sort of thing.
Sounds enticing.
Oh, indeed.
Sounds great.
Don't do it, damn it.
You may find some undead as well. They seem to like hanging around in those, gloom and all that.
Hmm.
When you say bad omens for messing with them, is anything specific?
Why do you ask?
Just so we don't mess with them. Bad omens.
Make a
are bad.
deception check.
No, I'm so bad at lying. Oh no. Oh,
He's so good at insight. Yeah, with a 23, I think he knew your lie.
Oh.
He sort of leans closer to you and goes, I hope you didn't do anything too bad.
I lean away. I don't like the close proximity. No, it wasn't too bad. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's normally seen as incurring a god's wrath or the wrath of nature.
Sweet.
Oh
Great.
no.
Best kind of wrath. Oh boy.
Yes, the vague and unforeseen.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Thanks. Thanks for rolling. I'm in so much trouble.
You so are.
Do you need one of those shots, Arsene?
I'd rather not.
No.
I'd rather be able to fight back if something comes for me. That's fine. The tea's
That's
really
wisdom.
good. That's why I'm wise.
I'm wise.
Are you as wise as I am?
I have years over you, child.
Doesn't make you wiser than me.
See?
I didn't send innocent animals into their deaths for nothing. Actually, let's get off that topic.
I was gonna say. You sure you want to go down that road? Anyway,
I wasn't telling a lie.
mm,
They weren't innocent or animals.
All right.
is it?
So your casual chit chat with Odnathus continues. I assume you end up returning to your tavern.
Does Southern Girl want more story?
I assume that was taken care of with the chit chat.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it was. I can give you one or two if you really wish for me to create them.
Story
Please.
time. Story time.
Please.
Story time.
All right. Well, he tells you of a time to which he was almost swallowed alive by a giant purple worm. He was traveling the deserts in search for a missing person who had apparently gone a tad delusional and wandered off into them. He was searching the deserts, had plenty of water and supplies. However, being a larger creature, he set off quite loud footsteps, even in sand, to which these creatures sensed and came up. And, well, he didn't quite notice it as it engulfed around. Luckily, he was able to escape from its mouth before it fully engulfed him by becoming one with the element to which he is part of. And before reforming and deciding it was best to hightail it rather than try and fight this creature.
That's pretty cool.
But yes, this is a creature which is capable of swallowing him entirely whole, so that should give you an idea of just how large those creatures are.
Mm-hmm. More
And he
creatures.
literally described it as a giant purple worm with a mouth full of teeth.
More creatures to avoid. I hope we don't have to go to the desert ever. Doesn't sound fun.
All right.
Yay! Story time with Curious. Love
So,
it.
with Boar spending the entire day asleep on top of Sana, and the rest of the night,
Next to Surno.
and I would assume the same with Cerno.
Cerno will have actually gotten out from under the mass that is Boar and just sat beside him.
All right.
Does Zerdo need to break a grapple check because he's being a teddy bear?
I think given enough time and with his size, he is able to wiggle free. Is there anything else that Sano does?
He's gonna sit and just think with himself for a while. He's gonna get, as time goes on, he's gonna get more agitated again. He's gonna go, screw it! He's gonna go downstairs and drink again.
All right.
Oh, God.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Yay.
How
God,
drunk is he when
God,
Agnes
God,
gets there?
God.
Well, considering that Agnes is...
I
yeah, no, he's passed out after his first one. Considering Agnes is quite tipsy herself.
Still not going to be happy. She's just
not
going to be
happy,
worse at
but
carrying him.
she's yeah, substantially worse at carrying him. And come the next morning, 3 people have headaches. That being Boar, Cerno, and Agnes.
You really gotta watch your drink. Like, this is concerning.
I had one.
Who's she talking to when she says that?
That's even more concerning. Everyone.
I
Is
asked
it-
for something different. I didn't ask for a death wish.
I
I assume
look
it's the
at
same
them,
thing with alcohol.
Boy,
Not when done with care.
Boy takes a look at the entire group, and he just gives him a big hug and starts slowly crying.
Nope. Nope.
Tears, yes.
Nope.
Except, do I have to make a I'll make a fucking grapple check.
Nope.
You know
I'm
we'll
making a
beat them.
grapple check. What do I need to roll?
Oh wait,
Abigail is going to substitute Erno in for herself.
Wait, what? Sorry?
Nope, grapple check. Grapple
No,
check.
Agnes is trying to wriggle free.
Well, that would be an athletics check from Boar with an acrobatics or athletics for Agnes.
Athletics, fucking.
I have to do acrobatics.
You can do athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Well, it's going to be acrobatics because
And then, yeah, you
one's a
can do
-1 and
acrobatics.
one's a +1.
For you, even with Boar in his sore state, he kind of hugs you, pulls you tight, and then hear him go, "Oh!" as he realizes that probably wasn't the best idea to move quite as quick. Did.
So,
If you do not let me go in 1 second, I will make that pain much worse.
don't care.
You can roll another acrobatics to try and escape against another athletics if you wish.
Is he the only one in 5 feet of me?
Oh shit.
I would
No,
say
I
yes.
told everyone to do group
If
hug.
that's a yes, then sword burst.
Oh, wait, we're all in
Oh
the
my
freaking.
fucking
We're all in
god.
5 feet of you.
Nate just said yeah.
No. Boar literally just ran over and picked up Agnes.
Okay.
Pretty much only Boar within 5 feet of her at this moment in time, unless
If
you
it was
guys,
only Boar, it'd be sword burst.
unless you guys go and join this group hug, as Agnes says. If you don't let me go, I'll make that pain much worse.
Everyone join in. Everyone join in.
I thought that it was doing like a group hug thing.
That's what I was thinking was happening.
Oh, if it's a group one, then
What, are you
shocking
guys
grass.
joining in this hug?
That's just shocking.
I still hurt him. It just depends whether it's which one it is.
Well, that depends. Are you guys Are you guys part of this group hug, or are you not?
Cerno's indifferent to it. If he's been a part of it, he's not going to resist.
Yeah. Oh,
I would say Boar wasn't able to gather you all, so it's a question of did you join him or not?
No.
Nope, Samagal is busy eating.
Then
Oh.
are you guys within 5 feet of him?
Cerno's nursing his
Fuck,
headache.
this is gonna hurt.
I would
Okay,
assume
what
not. Right, considering that you are currently grappled, Boar, because you are doing the grappling, but you are also counted as grappled. Yeah, just roll your damage, Jam. Just roll the sword burst damage.
Fine.
All right, Bull. Although your constitution is now back to normal, your health is at about half. You're now 2 less than half, so you're now at, what, 18 health? As ethereal swords dig into you, causing you to kind of recoil and drop her.
That hurt.
I did give you warning.
I don't care. It was worth it.
Really, I can do it again if you like.
No.
At that
Not into
comment,
that.
at that comment, Cerno glares at Agnes. Very
I
obviously.
wasn't going to kill him.
Sure, if you don't want to do rug.
Just when someone says to let go, you let go.
No, I hug. Anyways, I look at everyone. So, what's our next move?
I was
Okay.
actually thinking about that. We have to get across to Lake Cross. And I know where that generally is. It's across from Mapletide, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, in reality, we have 3 ties. Some time. Actually, a lot of them probably time restricted. We have the original plan, which was to head up to Oxenfront and search for those missing people.
Kimi
Then
said
there
that
was.
you would have to go do the.
I
you would have
know.
to go do her quest straight away.
I knew.
I was.
We have the dragon that I'm really worried about is following us. And then we have this undead thing that is also very time restricted.
I doubt dragon would leave its territory to follow us. Very much so.
Does.
Oh my god, is that a dragon on the roof?
Night eyes.
Cerno shakes away the last of his sort of headache. Does anyone remember that Johan needed us, some people, to go to Anchor Isle? Maybe we.
He mentioned some work or some.
Maybe we do that as payment, and then maybe we do that as a job, and the payment being he takes us across to Lake Cross.
That could work. I don't remember that, but that could work.
What
Is
is
it-
it?
It depends if he still needs the job done. I don't know what it is, but it's probably
Also, how fast the job could be done.
to be honest, it's probably faster than walking around, and boat's definitely not an option.
Hmm?
You assume he has means of transport to Anchor Isle, which isn't a boat?
Oh.
Well, either way, we need to get to Lake Cross first.
Or
Oh.
we go meet Johan, who may have some mode of transport, who knows?
But after we get all of this done, I want to go back to the place where I was raised. I need to go back.
Sure.
It's a
Yeah.
journey, but sure.
Be interesting to explore that area of the world a bit more.
Maybe we can stop by my own home as well. Anyway, what do we think? Johan?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Don't have to cross the bridge. There's a shop nearby, away from the water.
I know that place!
Away from the water.
Wait, hold on.
Well, the shop's still over water.
if you
So-
close your
No,
eyes.
they just said away from water, which is Agnes is happy about.
I mean, the shop's right next to the bridge, which means it's over water, but not.
They haven't said that, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
Agnes
that
hasn't
was-
realised.
That was just your friendly reminder.
Agnes hasn't realised. Johan then.
Wait, hold
Mhm.
on. I have a question.
Mhm. Yeah.
Did you guys go out and kill that giant?
It's dead,
Yeah.
yeah.
Instead.
Alright.
Did that
all did
within a few days. Very determined.
the the blue the blue dragonborn, was there something? Who was he?
Oh, he helped us with the killing of the giant as part of some favor he owed someone.
He was repaying a favour to the same people that you and Cerno owed a favour to.
Wait, hold on. We owed a favor to someone?
I'll explain it
They
later.
recognise Cerno.
Okay. It'll be explained later. Well, I guess to Johann's shop.
Yes, away from the water, like you said.
Can we just along the way say we describe what happened the past week and a bit
And I'll
to him?
quietly explain it to what happened to Ball.
Could I put Cerno on my shoulder, or would that be too painful?
No, you'll be able to. You're still somewhat in pain, but it's no longer like searing.
Okay. I put him on my shoulder. So he can tell me all
Alright.
the stuff.
So you'll make your way towards the lighthouse, and Agnes, you're beginning to get slightly more and more uncomfortable the closer you get to it, before the sound of lapping water is underneath foot, and they still seem to be continuing on forwards.
She's trying to keep up, but is be going very slow.
All right. Well, eventually, they lead you to a little past the the pier which connects to the lighthouse, and head inside to a shop which is labeled Forgotten Problems. Inside,
I love the name of that so much.
there is a small goblin, sat behind the desk with half-moon glasses perched upon his nose as he stares down at a ledger.
I hop down off Ball's shoulder. Hello again.
Oh, hello.
Is Yo? Can we speak to
God,
Johan?
that's what the goblin's voice was.
I think he's probably a tad busy. Why? I can try and book an
Oh.
appointment for you for the next couple of days. Why?
Well-
What do you need to talk to him about?
Well, we think we heard that at some point he was needing help across on Anchor Isle. Is that true?
I believe he was looking for someone to help empty out a problematic ruin.
God.
You
I,
hear the word ruins and I'm really like, hello?
I immediately feel our scene perk up at the mention of ruins.
The one thing I'm interested in.
Yeah, we'd want to undertake that job in exchange for,
Well, if you're wanting to undertake that job, that it's assumed that you'll be able to get to the Isle on your own travel. The costs will be recouped once you have finished. We will pay you back for those, but you'll have to pay for it to get you there. That you won't die in the business, and whilst the business is happening, that you will clear out the ruin. And it says here that it is quite deep. Estimated by Johan to take about 2-3 days.
What if we can't get there on our own?
Then there's no real point taking the drop down there, is there?
Agnes?
Yep.
How do you expect us to be able to get there anyway?
Well,
We're
boat.
in a port town.
And are there regular boats going to Anchor Isle?
No, but you can charter one.
And does anyone have the money for that?
You have an idea of the
How
general
much would it
price?
cost?
General price? Well, you're probably looking at a couple gold.
It's not bad.
Asuna looks back to Agnes. And he,
She's obviously uncomfortable with everything that's happening.
it's up to you, Agnes.
Why are we even doing this if the only payment is money?
Oh, yeah.
What do you make some look
What
around?
could we possibly negotiate a instead of getting paid, we can travel across to Lake Cross via Johann's portals in exchange for doing the job?
He specifically told me to tell people that his home is not a transport facility. Wasn't best pleased when the cat came through.
It's the cat that's asked us to go that way.
Yes, well, the cat made her own way back.
Well,
Please?
Though at least it's been told that she made her own way back. She hasn't come back yet.
Yeah,
How much is his
that
job?
actually makes
is
sense.
The
actually.
transport of literally walking through his home/office worth payment of this job?
According to him, no. He likes his personal space.
To be honest, I totally get that.
Oh,
I'm sure you would understand if you kept on having adventurers walk. Mud everywhere! Random bits of dead creature, things being poked, things being ogled, questions being asked, and he would have a constant stream of them.
you're very
could
clean
make-
and not nosy
You
at all.
could probably make a killing, you know,
Make
just
a
so-
deception check.
Who?
You.
Again?
Why do you do this?
What are you
oh
doing?
My fucking
Why?
God.
Hmm.
Can't
And that
be.
was a natural 20.
Jesus Christ.
What did you say to him?
that you guys are very clean and not nosy at all.
Hey, I'm not nosy.
He just looks at you and goes, "Uh-huh."
I'm a returning customer.
You could he could probably make a killing, you know, just selling passage back and forth.
I definitely know people who would pay for it.
Yeah, but not his house.
Yeah, no, that is actually a bit too much.
Why
Thinking
did he
about it,
make his
yeah.
house a transportation method?
For himself!
See?
But then it makes
That
sense
way he can
to
manage
make
all his
such
different
one up
shops in
for
the
other
different
people.
cities.
And how often does he manage this place?
It comes
Are you
back
sure it's not
every
just?
couple of days.
You sure it's not just you running the place?
Pretty sure, since I don't have a clue what half this stuff does. And he gestures to like a shelf of different objects behind him.
What's the
Also, the fact
shiniest
that he has to
one
come
that
by
I've
and pick
seen?
up the missing cat forms, and he just picks up this massive folder.
Oh my god.
I don't know why this town just doesn't let them all be strays, but anyway.
Yeah, well, me and
I'd
you the
be
same,
so-
but I think between me and you, they don't really particularly like being over an ocean.
I'd be so sad if Night Eyes got lost.
I feel I relate to
You
these
hear the
cats.
slight sound of munching.
Night Eyes would be sad too, because no one would be able to buy him food.
The munching continues.
Cerno
Who is this pharmacy?
Cerno turns around and turns to Agnes. Well, it makes sense, not walking through its home. What if we just charter the boat, go out to the island, and then take that boat a little further over to Lake Cross?
Would we have to return back to here after the job is done?
There's a shop in Lake Cross. You can always confirm that the job is done over.
Fits together pretty
Suppose.
nicely. The only problem would be your fear of water.
Not
Pretty much
there.
all it is.
I think we got a potion for that, and he kind of leans forward and kind of wiggles his up and down.
Wait, you cut out. He wiggled what?
I think we got a potion for that. He leans forward and sort of wiggles his glasses slightly further down his nose and glances Agnes up and down.
What do you mean?
Well, you can't be afraid if you're not conscious.
That I don't like. The way
Oh,
that is.
that went a full
I'm
180 of what
not
I was
afraid.
thinking immediately. But it sounds so
You
obvious
try
now.
and touch me, and I will cause you much pain.
Won't be me touching you. Anyway, I guess you could probably look at getting a ring of water walking if you're really afraid of getting wet.
Being
Pricey.
above the water is same as being in the water.
Well, there's a perfectly good road, except for all the undead, but
A
a
road
sort
to
of
get to
group of adventurers like you would be perfectly fine with that.
a road to get into the island. I'm sure it
not
works
the island.
brilliant.
Lake Cross. The island you're going over water.
We'll get a boat.
Can't they build like a massive bridge? Or would you still hate that?
I wouldn't be a regular visitor, I'd say that.
Okay. Just for
Yeah.
future reference.
Why not build a over 60-mile length bridge over one of the largest shipping channels along the Sword Coast?
Yeah, then
Why
you
not
wouldn't
build
have to use boats.
business
all
I'm
the time.
sure nothing could go wrong there.
Why not build a business over teleporting that's obviously done already?
Because it's extremely draining. I
Magic.
don't think you understand quite how significant this magic is, miss.
He seems to be here a while.
Teleportation is beyond even your scope. So, you see, what it requires is, first of all, you're going to need some arcane sigils. And now you're going to have to form these sigils in the same place for over a year. Every day, forming the same sigils. Now, once you have formed these sigils, you can find more persons who is capable of casting these spells, which is going to take you quite a while. You could probably find one in, I don't know, hey, a year might work.
And how long
And then once
has
you got one of these
Johan
people
been
who
running
have
this
found
business here?
these, what?
How long has Johan been running this business here?
Good couple of years.
You look like he's running
Also,
it.
he doesn't use portals. Well, I mean, he does use portals, but not like the way you're thinking. If you're thinking of like teleporting, it's You build the circles, you get someone who knows how to go to the circles, then you need them to take you to the circles. But the problem is they can only do it a certain number of times, and most people are pretty much tapped out by the time they've done it once anyway. So you'd need about, I don't know, 40 or 50 or so of these people to be able to do it for, like, I don't know, a decent amount of one day. And then you'd have to wait over a week for them to be done, and then to be back and ready to
My
be able to
point is, he set up his home
bookings in
before he had a
advance, and it'd
business,
just be
and
completely pointless.
Well, maybe
Sono is
fair.
standing
Not-
awkwardly
If
in this
you think it's a
conversation.
good business idea, miss, why don't you make it yourself?
I'm working on it. Though my
Fucking god damn.
teleportation is going to be much different.
I don't have the brains to understand half of what you said, but you sound very
Dude, I'm
passionate, so I will
slowly
agree with you.
passing out, just drowning it out.
So, we'd like to take the job then, I guess.
Wonderful! Right, I'll need your signatures.
Fine.
What is it with people and why signatures?
Fuck, I don't have that.
I signed my name.
Sono will
B-
sign his.
All right, well, he produces a
B.
document which, with a quick skim read, essentially says that you agree to do to travel to Anchor Isle and to clear out a specific ruins. There we go.
Mm.
Ruins.
Mhm.
Only there being only one on the island on the northern end of it. All layers essentially just make sure nothing's going to try and eat Johan when he goes there. Payment will be given upon completion, 2,000 gold, to be split among you as you see wish. Johan and Forgotten Problems are not responsible for any injuries you may incur, and no compensation can be claimed.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
Sweet. I'm like, oh, you guys killed my dragon. Well, money.
Okay, I sign it. B.
All right.
For the bugbear.
Genius.
Okay.
Because I don't have a fucking last name for boy. I have one for now, but I don't have one for boy.
Agnes
Boy
signs it with
Bartholomew
Aggie.
Bugbear.
All right.
Abigail just
The
inks her
Aggie?
paw and pats it on.
All right.
Sono signs down his full name, including the nickname he gets, Sono Hermit Fellow Terret.
All right.
Fine, just scene.
All
The
right.
name.
And I would now like you all to make, I believe it is wisdom saving throws.
Hell yeah.
That's a +4.
Oh, +2 to my fucking wisdom. Hell yeah.
Sure, it's not charisma.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure.
I rolled 11.
Oh, I'm definitely sure.
At 20.
Oof.
I want to share some of those.
Fucking 20.
Mm.
Am I the only one who succeeds?
Vinga.
Meow.
Wait.
And a 19. Well, Boar and Savangao, Purple, you rolled just what you needed.
Seriously?
He's a level 18 caster. What the hell do you expect?
Still,
His
jeez.
save DC is that of 19, and his spell attack is that of 11.
Oh god.
Wow.
So, Boar and Savangao, you're able to shrug off this feeling of arcane binding upon signing. Everyone
Oh.
else, you feel that you now have entered a contract that if you back out of, there may be some repercussions.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
And as he kind of takes the paper and kind of checks it all over and goes, that all seems to be applied. If you like out of the contract, please contact us. Otherwise, if you just don't do it, you may suffer a few problems. As soon as possible, please. And he kind of files it away in a filing cabinet. Have a good day.
Good
Thank you.
day.
Aggie no like, Aggie no like.
Aki
Oh,
no like.
quickly usher her out.
I have a +4.
You did roll 19.
I had a
You
plus
rolled-
1.
Look,
+2.
to be fair, against any normal spellcaster, like against even a level 1 spellcaster, only Savangal and Boar would have succeeded anyway, considering most
Yeah.
spellcasters have a spell save of 12 on average.
Yeah.
If you consider that their stat is 10 and their proficiency is 2 at level 1.
We didn't do good.
No, you didn't. And I think, considering it's now 10 past 1 in the morning,
Oh,
And
unless
I
you want to
have-
go charter a ship, we shall call that.
Can we charter the ship?
Agnes wants to go to.
I have
Yep.
to go. Yeah,
She
have
will
till
charter
8.
the ship.
Agnes wants to go as the person that she wants to talk to.
Okay, so do you just go find any old ship to charter?
We go look around for a nice, sort of reliable looking vessel.
Well, there are currently 3 ships docked in port. One of them you quickly find out is a cargo ship. One of them seems to be a female dwarf captain who quite enthusiastically talks about the strength of her crew and, willing to go anywhere for a price, You'd also be expected to stay out of the crew's way, but other than that, some food would be provided. Safety wouldn't entirely be assured. If something happened to the ship, you guys would be expected to help out. But reasonable prices, reasonable stat. And the last one is your good old friend Argenfell, who literally just states you need to give him a destination and he'll take you there.
I guess we're taking the dwarf captain's ship.
That's the guy that Agnes was told about, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So approaching Argenfell, he is pretty much, there is no one else around his ship. He is just stood pretty much at the gangplank, leaning slightly, holding on to an oar in one hand and a lantern in the other, and is standing pretty much stock still. And as you approach, he just turns to look at you and goes, "Can I help?"
What is your name?
They call me Argenfell. What is your business?
Looking for a ship.
You found one.
You go anywhere?
Anywhere that has a name and is connected by water.
How
Wait,
much?
hold on. Yeah, I was
Depends where you're going.
Shadowfell.
Base price of traveling there? It's quite expensive.
Name price.
And this is where the DM has to quickly scroll through all his bloody notes.
Agnes is going to find this dude eventually, so I know.
Oop. Next one. I have way too many. I'll find it eventually.
How much would it cost us to get to Lake Cross?
Lake Cross, that's essentially a standard fare where every mile is 2 silver pieces.
Okay, I have no clue like what the mile is between. Be able to
Yeah,
We would
look-
need to stop at. We need to go to Ankara first.
You're looking at approximately 150. So what? You're looking at about 15 gold to go from Mapletide to Lake Cross. Ooh, this is
Does
what I
he?
get.
Does he say knowing the price of?
Look, I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to get the thing. Nope. No snapping.
Here we go.
That's not how you do it.
Oh, sorry, no. He's yeah. So for him, it's from the dwarven captain you talk to, it's 1 silver piece. It's 2 silver pieces per mile. For him, it's 1 silver piece per mile, to go to an inner plane, it costs an additional 100 gold pieces. To go to an outer plane, it costs an additional 500.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the prices, and I need to keep that somewhere else so I don't have to dig through like 1,000 different session notes to find it. All right. Yes, Dwarven Captain, 2 silver pieces per mile, which means it will cost you 30 gold pieces to get from Mapletide to Lake Cross, pretty much. You
Okay.
do realize that boats can't travel over land.
That better for you?
Yeah, pretty much. So you are looking at
So
Yeah, well,
you're looking at
I'll
about
go.
30 gold pieces for the Dwarven Captain. You're looking at about 14, 15 gold pieces for Argenfell.
does Argenthal agree to stay at Anchor for us until we go to Lake Cross?
I will wait to finish the contract.
What about the dwarf captain? They say the same thing?
She suggests that you may have to pay a small premium for her crew to sit idle for a couple of days.
Argifel doesn't mention any of that.
Nope.
I am more than happy to go with this.
yeah. Hey,
Shall we set off?
I'm ready to.
Is there anything anyone needs to get?
Horses, we need to check on them.
Oh, horses.
Ooh, we need to
God.
pay for more days.
I shall wait here.
Give us an hour or two.
I'm assuming Nar took one of the horses.
Yes, Nar did take one of his. Did take his horse.
Mm.
Hey, that's less we have to pay.
I wasn't gonna mention it.
Oh no!
No,
I
I was
know.
like, yeah, I know you weren't.
And I do recall, Jam. Nar would have taken his horse, meaning that you only have one horse and a cart now. It's still 5 silver pieces per horse per day.
You don't know how long.
How
we're
many
gonna
days
be.
will be?
And we transfer the price from the 2 days for Nara's horse, which is now gone onto the horse currently staying.
We've been 2 days, haven't we?
Yeah, you have.
Yes, we need to go pay anyway. Need to pay more. How many days do you think?
Like 4 gold
At least.
should last us.
I would say 10 days worth. So
I'll put in 6 gold.
oh,
Because
I
12 days.
wrong on our days.
6 gold is 12 days. Yeah.
Just do that then.
If Serna wants to pay for 12 days, I will pay for
I can pay
5
3.
days.
I can pay 3 gold.
Okay, then Agnes won't pay anything.
Right. Now I just need to remember how quickly their ship can transport.
There was no way that we could get the cart or a horse onto the actual ship, could we?
I'm assuming it's
No.
some tiny little thing.
No, his ship is actually pretty damn big. It's yeah, you're talking about a galley. It's like
It's manned
It's
by
like
only
you-
him.
It's a ship designed to transport cargo, and it's manned by a singular person.
It's very impressive.
Also, it has a travel speed of 4 miles an hour, which is approximately what you guys travel in on foot, which means it takes about a day to go per. It takes about a day to go per hex. So you're looking at 1, 2. I wanted to call him Yimmick, but his name isn't Yimmick. His name is Silic. Silic said that it would take about 3 days to go through the dungeon.
Uh-huh.
So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to Lake Cross alone, and you don't know how long you're going to be in Lake Cross. And then you'd need to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 days to get back to Mapletide. So you're looking at 11 if Kimi's job is that of literally just a day's worth.
I think maybe we need to pay more days.
Throw in another 10 gold, we think.
Or we could just take the horses with us.
We can't get the horses to the boat.
Mapletide doesn't allow horses or carts in the city.
Oh, right.
Specifically because horses tend to get their hooves and legs caught in the western side.
So how many days did you say it was?
It'll be 11 days if Kimi's quest is literally only a day in length, and you only
And
spend
it's 2 silver per day, did you say?
5 silver per day.
5 silver per day.
So for 2 days is a gold.
2 days is a gold. Let's say 12 days, so 6 gold.
I paid 3.
Be up to 9 gold.
Sono 6, Savangale's 3. Does that mean Agnes is chucking in the last 3?
For how many days does that make?
12. Wait, no. 12 gold. No, that'll make 24, brain. Ugh.
24 days.
Yeah. For 12
Sure,
gold.
3 gold.
Right. Well, she happily takes the gold and says that your horses will be ready. Will still be here within the month, and no additional charges.
I also I assume we've moved the trunk to the cart.
Yes. On your way, on going to the stables to pay for your horse and cart, you moved the trunk as well. To which she made you sign yet another waiver, saying you don't mind if it's not there when you get back.
I really don't care for this trunk.
Yes, well, as long as I have it in writing, all is good.
To be fair, if you want to take it to make use of it, I would not mind.
All right. If that is all,
Mhm.
we shall assume you board the ship, and we shall pick that up next session.
Hey.
Yay.
Yay. Get to explore. I want to go explore the ruins.
And point of note, Abby,
Mhm.
Nyx owes Odnathus a favour.
Nice. Oh no. Doesn't he? Doesn't she?
Yes. Yes, your group does.
Well, he hasn't told us yet.
No, he's not
What's
going
up?
to tell you what that favour is. It's going to involve interplanar travel.
Oh,
Anyway.
does
I hope you
Hold-
guys
hold-
enjoyed
hold on.
this campaign
Yes.
and this session of Dummies and Dice. We have had a comrade return
guys, welcome
and
to
a
this
temporary
episode of I
comrade
don't know what the heck
disappear.
it is.
Next time we will have
Nightmares.
Agnes facing her fear of water and RC getting to go into one of her other favourite terrains, which isn't forests.
and it was our 30th session.
Indeed it was.
Hey.
it?
15th
my
episode
God.
as well. He damn knows.
Hmm.
Alright. We'll transition to the other screen. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
bitches.